Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Muzzle is Off podcast. I'd like y'all all to come in because this is going to be a night like no other, okay? This is going to be a night like none other because we have the wifeability coach, the lifeability coach, the business strategist, the mother of all mothers, the wife of all wives. We have yes, she said it, okay? She said it. Okay, she has said it. We have the wife of all wives. Donald Bell, I know that you shall agree. We have none other than Adrienne E. Bell here with us tonight.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here with the Nakia Monet.
Listen, because there is none like me. I know that.
There is none like you. We are in agreement.
Listen. The Bible says, where two or more gather in agreement, there shall he be in the midst. So therefore, we are in agreement we both are the in front because she is the Adrienne E. Bell on the good Instagram. I am not the Nakia Monet, but I am Nakia Monet. And I am the Muzzle podcast. And I am just all things and she is all things. And we are all things together because we are women, okay? Right. So this month, we've really been talking about relationships, and I wanted Adrienne to come on here because after the last few conversations, I was like, okay, there needs to be some balance in the entire conversation, right? There needs to be a level of wholeness to the conversation, right? Like there needs to be a level of freedom and a level of, let's say, equality within a conversation because, you know, we can talk relationships all we want and we can talk my side, we can talk their side, we can talk all the sides. But at the end of the day, there needs to be a balance into the conversation concerning relationships because, and this is not just romantic relationship. This transcends even friendships. Yes. How we interact with each other as women, how men interact with each other as men, how we interact with men and women as either friends or in the realm of an actual, partnership, relationship, companionship, all of that. And I just think that it's important that we bring balance to that conversation because everybody has their side. Right. We have our side. And then there's the balance in between. And I said, I know Adrienne can bring this good balance for this in between because as the lifeability coach, as the wifeability coach, as the business strategist, as the one who knows how to ask the questions and draw out of you what it is that you truly want, and as a person that has literally been there to guide me, not just in like in business decisions, but also personally, I could call you and count on you and be like, okay, AB, this is what happened and so-and-so. And you'll be like, okay, sugar. Oh, God. When AB hits you with that sugar, you already know that it's about to go down with all the sugar and the spice and everything nice and not nice in between. I'm just saying. Because she's going to read you to the truth of you. Okay.
But I love you though.
You do. And I love it when you do it because you'll tell me, sugar, don't self-sabotage. Okay. I'll be like, oh, I'm not. Hello. No, I'm not. No. This time. No, I get it now. Right. I get it. Hello. But we experience a lot of that. And I just think that as someone who is seasoned in this, you offer a level of balance and expertise to what we're talking about as it pertains to relationships. So I just want to get down to it because listen, AB, that's what I call her AB because she Adrienne E. Bell. So I call her AB. AB was like, listen, I fly off the cuff, so whatever. And I was like, you know what? Because I done wrote down 1,001 questions and I was like, this is what we're going to do because I had to do it. Okay. So the first thing I said to myself, I was like, okay, what do we want to talk about? And I'm like, okay, we've talked about toxic masculinity. I do believe there is a toxic femininity that we don't fully discuss, right? So I said, okay, if we have all that is toxic, then what is there that is good? right? Because I can talk about the bad sides, right? I can talk about, oh, you raise boys, you tell them don't show emotion, don't cry, no, suck it up. But there's also a flip side to that. We could talk about women. Women, you got to be independent. You need to depend upon yourself. No, but there's also a flip side to that.
That's
and
right.
Then that turns into toxic femininity, right? So what are the healthy sides of relationships as we build and as we grow to you?
So, well, first of all, thank you so much, Nakia, for allowing me to come on your podcast. I'm honored that you could have picked anybody. So I'm grateful that you decided to allow me to join your podcast today. Shout out to all the Muzzle is Off listeners. You guys rock. So what I feel is positive femininity or positive as a relation to relationships, period. When it comes to women, I always say never, ever, ever have a relationship with a woman that has a man-hating spirit. If you want a husband, sugar, and you got a friend that don't like men, you will be single right along with her. Okay?
Hold up, let me break out y'all better get your notes.
Get your notebook, sugar. Tweet this, okay?
Get your notebook.
If she has a man-hating spirit, and man-hating says men can never do anything wrong, ever do anything right. All men cheat, which we know is a lie. Men are no good for anything but money. And you know what? I don't know what we can say on this podcast, but
you know,
just let me know. You know, money, I'll say money and penis. I'll say that. Amen. You know, men are no good for, you know, it's a function. They're a function. You cannot be friends with a woman like that. Same thing with you gentlemen. You can't be friends with a man who has a woman-hating spirit, especially if you want to be somebody's husband. Because what happens is that it becomes toxic because you begin looking at men/women through the lens of their pain or their wounds or their trauma, instead of seeing those people for who they are. Okay, so you got to protect your circle. Get around some people that's like, okay, you can't be around people that worship, romantic relationship, because that's mad corny, first of all. And second, it's mad corny. I'm just telling you. It's corny because it's like, sis, I know you want a husband, but what we're not going to do is talk about this every time we go for brunch. Okay? We're going to talk about something else. So make that a number two. You can't worship relationships, worship romantic relationships and think that's going to be healthy, because you're going to be looked at as thirsty. Men, my husband used to tell me, shout out to Donald Bell. I've been with him since I was 19. I'm 42. I've been riding with him for a long time. Okay. We were engaged for a year. Oh yeah. I got to run down my credentials. Are you even married? That's what they say. Are you even married? Like,
do you even know who are you? Tell them who you are. Run it down. I'm here.
Just so you know, I've written my own book called Becoming an Intentional Wife, a real wife guide to excellence in marriage and in life. I am the wife that feels like you can have it all. Some people say, oh, well, you can only have love or success. No, you can have both if you work at it. Right. Also, like I said, I was engaged. I dated my husband for a year. We were engaged for a year, and we've been married 20 years as of June 17th, 2020. So I said all of that to say that I've learned over the years that circle of friends that hold you accountable. Some of y'all gonna have to start going through your cell phone right now. Some of us are single still because of our circle. We're not single because anything's wrong with us. But they be like, you be like, this is my hey Henry, this is my BFF. They be like, I don't like her. Men, my husband taught me that men can pick up on desperation. Men can pick up on yeah, I can get that, I can hit that, I can do this. They can pick it, they can smell it. Okay, so being healthy is don't be the girl that's stinky and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get that. Right? So the healthy part is it starts from the inside out, knowing who you are, what your standards are. I think I'm on number 4. The fourth thing would be, I don't know what the other three was, so y'all just gonna have to hit rewind, okay? Because I think the next thing also, as far as healthy, is don't be a slave to your I want this list. You know, if he's not like this, if he's not 6 feet tall, if he don't have, you know, if the penis don't have a curve on it, I'm just saying, like, I mean, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, don't be a slave to it. Okay.
Jay-Z said he can hit that curve, though. I'm just saying.
How about that? I mean, I'm just, you know, whatever. But I'm just saying, don't be a slave.
Don't be a slave to it.
Because that's toxic. Because you could be putting a good guy in a friend zone when he's actually your destiny partner. Don't friend zone the wrong guy or the wrong girl. Talk about that's my sis. Sir, that's your wife. Okay. If you call her before you call your mama, there's a good chance that's your wife. Right? So we get into situations where we create these emotional husbands and these emotional wives, and then we're trying to figure out, well, I'm dating and I don't know what's, but every time you go on a date and you start talking about your best friend, they might be like, yeah, no, it's a no for me, because that person, you know, they're not really feeling me because they're talking about their best friend more than they're talking about themselves, right? So I said all that to say it's all about the perspective. You have to keep your perspective about relationships, whether it be platonic, romantic, or whatever. My last point is, I tell women all the time, if you don't friend well, you won't wife well. Period.
Hashtag.
If you don't friend well, you won't wife well. And the reason I say that is because, see, guys are different. Like, they have like their boys. That's my boy. You know, we hang out, we kick it. And they know how to pivot. But my husband needs me to be his friend. Like, he needs me to be, you know, the friends with benefits. That's what the real wife is, you know, is that friends with benefits. So this is not necessarily a wife class, but I'm trying to teach you game if you want a man. Period. And if you want to keep one, I'm just saying, if you want to keep one, you want to stop getting played by these dudes because they looking dumb. Women, they're looking at us like, yes, she's dumb. Like, I'm not. So I like to put women on game. Like, listen, this is how he's looking at you. This is how he's responding and thinking. Sometimes women don't friend well because we've never been taught how to friend other women well. So men watch you when you don't have no friends. Like, stop talking about, man, you know, I keep my circle small. I run from those people. You know why? Because you're telling me already that you're probably going to be a problem, right? Like, I understand about keeping your circle small. I don't think you need a whole lot of friends, but what it does, it puts up this guard, right? I'm all about, the Bible tells us to guard our heart with all diligence because out of it flows the issues of life, right? But it said guard it. It didn't say put a wall up.
That's right.
So if you put a wall up, nothing can go out and nothing can come in. But if I'm guarding it, I'm still giving you space. I'm talking to you. I'm engaging with you. That's healthy, right? So if you find yourself, ladies and gentlemen, but really more women, because our dynamic with other women is a lot different than how men engage with other men, and even how men engage with other women. Women say things like, you know, girl, all my friends is men, girl, all my friends is men. I'll be like, child, okay, like, that's a no for me. You cannot be a woman in this world. You cannot be a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, a mother, and not engage with other women. It's just not possible if you want to have a healthy relationship. So I hope I answered some of your questions.
No, you answered all of the question. And especially for us women, because at the end of the day, some of us have issues with friending other women.
Absolutely.
And when we don't know how to be a friend to women, we then again, like you said, don't know how to necessarily be a friend even to a man.
That's right.
Even though the dynamic is a little different, but how can you not be a friend to your own kind and then act like you can be a friend to the opposite?
Thank you.
Yeah, because I don't get that part.
Well, let me tell you, women say it's easier to be friends with men because they require less of them or whatever. But women, we tend to be catty. We tend to be jealous. We tend to be messy. We tend to be, you know, all of these different things. And so if you've had, you know, hurt among other women, it is painful and you're scared to engage with other women. But I encourage you, please try. If you don't have any female friends, my friends will be your friends. I have so many friends that are friends with my friends now because they didn't have friends. right? And it's all about, sis, I'll show you. I'm gonna tell you you whacked. I'm gonna tell you that was bogus, because most women will just tell you, you know, they'll either cuss you out or want to fight you or whatever. It's like, no, let's talk about what happened so we can move forward. Because if you can work it out with me, you can work it out with a man.
And it's teaching you how to build upon your communication.
That's right.
Because
Absolutely.
a lot of the times what we lack is the ability to communicate. Okay, listen, this is how I felt about what you did.
Right.
This is how I felt about what you said. So therefore, since this is how I felt, you cannot negate how I felt about what you did. And therefore, you need to acknowledge it, accept it. And now we need to come to a common ground of understanding so that we can then move forward from it and
Absolutely.
not keep in this cycle of, well, because I don't like her because you know what, because and I ain't do nothing wrong. No, you did do something wrong. And admit
Right.
that you did do something wrong so we can move past whatever was wrong and move to the right direction of what's right and stop. But like you said, that cattiness, that messiness, that jealousy, that, you know, and then you have other women that really, really, truly do feel that other women are just so envious of their life. I might not care that much about your life.
I really don't. I really don't. But that tells me how insecure that woman is. And actually, I realize that those women don't know how to engage. So they'd rather put you in the you're a hater. Like, I had this one lady talk about how much I was a hater. And she was like, I've never met a hater who was doing better than me. And I was like, oh, she must not be talking about me. Like, I'm not even offended, because I'm like, really? Like, do you want me to run down your resume, sis?
Run it down.
Like, so if I unleash on you, your life is going to be shattered. So let me just let you have that. It's easier to do that. Sometimes it's not just about being the bigger person, but another healthy way to engage relationally is that emotional intelligence, your EQ. So you got your IQ, your mental, and then you have your EQ, your emotional. If your emotional intelligence is a 0, you're not going to engage with people correctly. So what that means is, every time somebody did something you didn't like, oh, she pissed me off, and okay, wait, let's take a step back, because see, I'm the cutoff queen. I'll be like, oh no, I'm done. But I have my friends, my family, my husband, my children holding me accountable, and they say, okay, let's walk through how much value this person brings to your life. How does this work? Because I asked them to hold me accountable. So that's another healthy, emotionally intelligent decision. When you want a family, when you want a spouse, when you want children, you have to be emotionally intelligent to know what you can handle emotionally and what you cannot. It's okay to get off the phone with somebody that's doing too much. It's okay to stop engaging. Facebook put a pause. They got a pause button on there. When you don't want to see Keisha for the next 30 days, hit pause. You don't want to
snooze you.
You know, you can snooze her. That's right. So if you want to don't unfriend, because honey, it's funny how they don't see your posts, but they can tell when you done unfriended them. I'm like, no, I ain't talked to you in 17 years, and you talk about so. Hey, see you on Facebook. Yeah, because I put you on snooze because you do too much, right? We got to be careful about all of that. It adds to the toxicity in relationships. And you can put a relationship on pause. You can do that. That's healthy. Well, I made a mistake. I put a relationship on pause and didn't tell them they were on pause. So they looked up to call my phone and was like, what? Okay, wait. Okay, hello? Yeah, because they couldn't get through. Okay. But I had to tell them, I had to apologize because I didn't communicate. I need to take a step back from this relationship, whether it be platonic. I'm talking about platonic girlfriends, having healthy relationships. If you can practice with your girlfriends, you will make an excellent wife. You will make an excellent wife and an excellent mother if you want to be a mom, because eventually your kids will want you to be their friends. I have two children, a boy and a girl, 17 and 16. And right now I'm done with parenting. I'm in coach mode now. I'm in mentor mode now. So that requires my friendly behavior. Does that make sense? That's healthy in relationships.
Not to get off topic, but we are talking about relationships, and children are part of the relationship. So how did you determine when you needed to switch modes with your children?
Oh, that's an excellent question. I realized I needed to switch modes with my children when they started asking me adult questions. When they started asking me and Brother Bell what our body count was, I said, now, wait a minute, sugar. Now, hold on. When they started asking us, I mean, let's be grown. I'm just saying, when they start asking questions, because social media is whatever we taught them, social media is going right behind us and either undoing or redoing what we taught them, right? Or trying
Yes,
to, right?
yes, yes.
So we have a responsibility to allow them to ask questions. So we have family meetings, we stay up to date. We have a family therapist, so we stay up to date with what's going on. So that's how we knew it was time to switch from when they started asking questions. Hey, mom, for example, my son, he decided, mom, he played football when he's in high school. You know, he said, mom, I just don't want to do that anymore. My son reads the stock market every day. He's a very intelligent young man. So he was like, just because I'm a big black guy doesn't mean I want to play football. Like I want to read music. I want to. So we started to cultivate that, right? And that relationship with him. Some parents would have been like, "No, we done put you in football since you was 8, and you was in sports," and started tearing them down. And that's why a lot of teenagers grow up hating their parents, and you end up in a nursing home. Sugar, Adrienne E will not be in a nursing home. I'm too cute to be in a nursing home. Okay. So, Bells, how can I serve you? You want some water? Okay. Anything else? You want anything? You know, so, you know, we serve well because we want to make sure that they are balanced citizens. And it's not too late. Even if your kids are older and you're like, man, I wish I would have done that. It's not too late. You start the question with I always ask my kids, how is your heart? How's your heart? How's your heart? And if I start there, they'll tell me everything I want to know. So that's how we knew it was time to switch from parenting to mentor coach.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Because I swear my mother still to this day, and I'm almost 40, doesn't know how to turn that off. You know, like.
Well, you know, the thing about it, we just have to guide our moms or parents and just say, I need my friend right now. Like my mom and I, we established, shout out to Corpew, Mama Corpew. We established a relationship where I say, okay, she knows when I need my mama, I need my mama. But when I need my friend, when I need my mentor, my coach, I tell her, I need you to hear me out, not like your daughter. Because you see, my mom is like me. I don't play about my kids. I will go to jail for my kids. Okay, period. My kids, they never tell me if anything happens at school because they tell their daddy. They don't tell me, right? My mama was that for me. Mama, ride or die, daddy, ride or die. So I always felt protected in my relationship with my mom, right? So, but she knew, but when I need her to be my mom, I tell her I need my mama. But if I need her to be my strategist, my friend, my coach, I say, Mom, right now, I need you to be my coach. I need you to be my mentor. I need you to be unbiased. Don't be my mama and go kill somebody. I need you to be unbiased.
Right.
And that's as a relationship, as emotionally healthy person, it's your responsibility to teach your parents, your girlfriends, your guy friends how to treat you, how you want to be treated. One of the things my friend and I call her one of my life coaches is Tamara P. Fields. Shout out to Tamara P. Fields.
Shout out to Mother.
Yes, Mother. She taught me how to establish boundaries. I did not know how to do that because I thought love was you're just there and you just show up and no matter what happens, you just keep showing up. And she said, oh, no. You gotta know when to cut that off because you're killing yourself and they moving on. And that's another healthy tool in relationships. There's nothing wrong with establishing boundaries. So for example, if me and another young lady got into it and maybe we've never had an issue or whatever the case may be, it's my responsibility to say, this is how I like to be treated. Can we not cross this line anymore? Because I want to remain in a relationship with you. That's healthy. But what we do is we just be mad and cussing each other out and want to fight and all of that foolishness. And really, you love that person. So if you're listening to us and you have a girlfriend that you know you love and you want in her life and want in your life, and you're like, you know what, I want to start over with her. You just call her and say, hey, can we establish some healthy boundaries? And here's what I need. What do you need from me? I'm sorry for anything that I've said or done that hurts you. That was not my intention. Even if it was your intention, sugar, I apologize because it hurt. Okay. I meant to call you out your name, sugar. Okay.
But I apologize.
So that you can hit reset and start over. Absolutely.
No, I definitely believe in that. Me and one of my friends, we have definitely had those moments where we had to hit the reset.
Absolutely.
Where I might have said something, she might have said something, and we had to be like, hold up, reset button. Let's hit this.
Absolutely.
Let's acknowledge it, but now let's move on from it. And that,
That's
but
right.
that is literally the mature way of handling relationships, because
That's
you
right.
know, all right, I offended you. I need to apologize. You need to apologize. Let us all apologize. And then now let's grow from this apology phase, because we should not keep apologizing for the same thing over and over again.
Okay.
Because at that point, you become a repeat offender, and I'm cutting you off. I'm just being honest. Period. Mm-hmm. Cool. Done. But I'm just saying. But, you know, everybody has to establish boundaries in every relationship that we have, because when people begin to cross over those boundaries and then they begin to cross into your personal space of the boundaries, now this is where we no longer become just offended. This is where we become bitter. This is where we become hurt. This is where we become, like, literally we begin to live in that pain, because now I've allowed you to cross over an area where you should not have even crossed over.
Right.
And then in order to rebound from that, it's even worse, because now you have to get back across the line to find your boundary again. And then you have to then build up to say, okay, how do I prevent this from happening again?
Absolutely.
And that process in itself is time consuming, and it is long, and you don't know who to trust, who to run to. You sit up there confused, abused, stuck in a house by yourself. Talking about, no, I ain't going outside. Them niggas is crazy. All that stuff you do.
That's right. It's true. We do it.
We do it all. And, you know, until we figure out, yo, I let you cross the line. Oh, okay. I ignored this. I ignored that. I should have saw this. I should have saw. And then now we like, oh, okay. So we become realized in ourselves. We begin to have self-realization of where we allow certain things to happen. And that truly is what takes place in all relationships, whether it is romantic, whether it is platonic. And that's why I had asked, I was like, you know what really does ruin relationships? What do you think, AB? What really ruins relationships?
So this is what ruins it for me. So if you don't know, there are, and I'm going to pull it up so that we can all be on the same page. Turn in your Bibles to, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not doing that. There is, okay, so everybody's heard of the love languages, right?
Yes.
There's the acts of service, gifts, what's the other one? Quality time. The other one is
affection or something like that.
Oh, it's I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm pulling it up.
This is why we got Google.
Yes, this is why we have Google.
You know what? I take that back.
So what?
They don't get free advertisement.
Okay. So it's words of affirmation. Say something good to me. Quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and physical touch, right? Those are the 5 love languages. But most people don't know that there are 5 apology languages as well. There are 5 apology languages: expressing regret, accepting responsibility, making restitution, genuinely repenting, and requesting forgiveness. Those are 5 different 5 different apology languages. And what I think ruins relationships is that people don't know each other's apology language when it comes to conflicts. Conflict is going to happen, period. It's going to happen. There's no way around it. I don't care how cool you and the person are, how long you've known them. Conflict is going to happen. Now, it doesn't have to be toxic conflict. I think there's a constructive conflict where it's a learning opportunity for everybody. But then there is conflict that is hurtful, whether it's intentional or unintentional. But I think what the main thing, in my opinion, that ruins relationships is people not knowing people who they say, oh, that's my girl. That's my girl. Like, I had to learn people's apology languages and their love languages. Okay.
Right.
My apology language is making restitution. Like, so I'm not the person where you have to tell me you are sorry 50 times. I'm not the person you have to express how sorry you are and you accept responsibility. Like, I don't care about none of that. Okay. My thing is, how you gonna fix it, sugar? What we gonna do different? Okay. That's what makes me know that you really value what I'm feeling. My husband, on the other hand, is accepting responsibility. He needs to know that I'm not deflecting from what hurt him, that I'm not like, okay, well, oh, well. Of course, I'm sorry and I apologize is the end of that language, but there's really a two-step apology. It's either you're going to express regret or accept responsibility or make restitution or genuinely repent or request forgiveness. But at the end of the day, you still have to be like, forgive me. That was not something that I meant to hurt you. Right. And I think people don't know. That's why some people, like the guys, especially men, they'll be like, I told her I was sorry. I bought her a gift. I bought her a new car. I don't understand what's wrong, sir. But have you taken responsibility? If that's her language, have you taken responsibility? So I challenge everybody at the end of this broadcast. I always tell people, do your love language at least once a year, because people be like, yeah, I did it like 5 years ago. Man, you're a different person. Okay. So just take it once a year on your birthday, and also do your apology language. Okay. That apology language will say, this is why I'm having a hard time getting over this, because I needed to know that this person was genuinely regret what they did. Like, were they really sorry? Because people can tell you that they're sorry and you still be like, it was fake. I don't believe it.
Yep.
Right. You still could be like, if for genuinely repent, people genuinely repent says, I will never do it again. Because you can regret it and be like, but I'm still going to do it. Right. But it's important, if the person who's been offended knows that you have the propensity to do it again, at least they can brace themselves and say, okay, this might happen again, but at least that person took expressing regret that they hurt me with what they did. So to me, Nikita, that's why relationships fail, because when it comes to the apology language, people are ignorant. They're apologizing the wrong way. It's like buying me flowers and I don't like flowers. It's like telling me I want to go to Red Lobster, but you take me to McDonald's and you tell me, oh, well, it's still food. Sir, I asked for Red Lobster. I didn't ask for McDonald's, right? We can't just give people what we think well, I don't feel like that. Well, I didn't say, it doesn't matter. Even Jesus said, if we offend someone, we are supposed to take ownership of that and apologize for that. We're not supposed to offend one another, even if we did it unintentionally. We apologize. Find out, I genuinely regret what I did. I repent for what I did. That won't happen again. And I always say, because my language is, how can I make it up to you? That's what I need. I say to people, what can I do to make it better? And they will tell me, I just wanted to know if you understood where I was coming from. I just wanted to make sure you genuinely understood where I was coming from. So that's why I think relationships are ruined, because people don't know each other's apology languages.
I agree, because my apology language, we did this, so I had to look it up. Yeah. So my apology language literally is expressing regret. I have to know that you are genuinely sorry for what you did.
That's right.
And then the second part of mine really is genuinely repent. Yeah. Meaning I have turned away from this behavior that I know seriously pissed you off, that I won't do it again. And that's the part that even Nisha just said. She said, but is it really genuine if they take responsibility and do it again?
Well, it is. Let me tell you why it's genuine. If they because taking responsibility says, I know I did it. What ticks people off is when they be like, I didn't do that. Sir, are you done? I'm seeing what you did. So it's like, even if you do it again, that's not why I'm mad. I'm mad that you're trying to play me like I'm dumb, like I don't know what you're doing. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they don't mean it. Sometimes people have an addiction. It depends on what we're talking about, right? So that's a very deep, in-depth question, but it doesn't mean that that they're not sorry just because they've done it again, or they genuinely repent. Because genuinely repent, also, it is your job as the person who has been offended to tell them, okay, you genuinely repent. You need to get some help. You need to go to counseling. You need to go to the pastor. You need to do something. I need to know that this is something you will not set yourself up to do again. Right. So that's where grace comes in. That's where, grace is what you give people before something happens. Mercy is what you extend after something happens, right? So you got to ask yourself, depending on what the repeat offense is, that's where your boundaries come into play and say, okay, you got one more time, sugar, and we done, period. But that's on you. You can't be telling them, oh, I got one more time, and they done did it 20 more times, and then they're looking at you like, okay, well, I could do it again.
No, they're looking at you like, oh, I could play her.
I can play you again, right? So that's kind of loaded, Nisha, but I hope that helped.
She said makes sense. I hope that's what she said makes sense too. But if it's not, I hope it still makes sense, Nisha. No, but that's good, because that's why I was like, you know what? Okay, well, what ruins relationships? And a lot of it does have to do with not understanding people's love language and also not understanding their apology language and what they need from you in order for you to understand them. And it's the vice versa, right? Because there's another person, right? So you also then have to take the time to understand them as well. So it's kind of like it's two people literally becoming understanding of each other and knowing who each other are, and then you work within that realm. So the question is that then, is there something really wrong with compromise?
Compromise in which way?
Well, compromise, and so sometimes you have to understand how people are. So therefore, it might not fully align. Like if I'm a person that needs, what is my love language? One of them might be words of affirmation, right? So if I'm a person that needs words of affirmation, right? But that's not your love language, right? So this person does not fully understand my love language being words of affirmation. I need to be affirmed. I need to be pushed. I need to be, you know, all the things that words of affirmation stands for. Is it necessarily wrong that they don't understand that they need to compromise in that area? Because maybe they're not a person that knows how to express that level of emotion. So therefore, there comes time where you have to compromise and be like, you know what? Okay, I understand who you are. So although I might need words of affirmation, words where you actually speak it, you might be a type of person that don't speak it, but you show it.
So to me, if it's my love language, I get to say what I want. Like I don't have to adjust to your personality, because that's part of being in a relationship, especially if it's a romantic one. Every relationship should challenge you to be better. So if you're in a relationship and it doesn't challenge you to be better, why are you in a relationship? Platonic, romantic. And if you're just like, oh, I'm just going to adjust, you know, that's just how he is. Or, you know, your little stuck up girlfriend that you take to all your events, and they'll be like, oh, why she sit in the corner? Be like, girl, don't worry about her. She don't mean no harm. She need to stay at the house. Okay. Because it's not, here's the thing. So the question is compromise. There's a difference in compromise and lowering your standards, right? So you can't, so if you love me, you're gonna make the adjustment to what I need, not what you're comfortable giving me. If I'm in a platonic relationship with you, or even a romantic relationship with you, and I have to be like, well, you know, he don't do that, that ain't what he do, then he don't need to be my man. She don't need to be my friend, because that's not relationship. So there's a difference in compromise and lowering your standards. So I always, even the Bible talks about the unwilling spouse, right? So if my friend is willing to do better, then I can rock with you. But if your friend is like, you trying to change me, so because I'm trying to challenge you to, I don't know, give me what I deserve to, then you find that then we just can't be in a relationship. That's when it starts getting toxic, because that person starts thinking you're trying to change them. You trying to make me like your bougie friends, or you try. I am extremely bougie. Okay, I mean everybody who knows me knows that, and I have no pride. But I'm good, and I can get down with the rest of them. I tell people I wasn't raised in the hood, but I was raised across the street from the hood, right? But I know how to navigate, so that when I'm in my husband's space with his family or friends or whatever, it's not about me necessarily in that moment, but I'm not going to do anything that would make him feel unloved, right? And he shouldn't do something to make me feel unloved, and I say, oh, well, that's just the way he is. No, absolutely not. When we're talking about love. Now, if we're talking tomatoes versus salmon versus chicken, that's a different conversation. That's when we're talking about there's a difference in preferences, and a difference in standards, and a difference in non-negotiables. It is non-negotiable for you to tell me I am unwilling to apply your love language. Then I don't need to be in a relationship with you. I'm not willing to compromise, because then I'm gonna resent you, because I'm giving you what you need, but you're not giving me what I need. And that's what people do in relationships. They just take whatever they can get. And that's not the order of God. That where you're just gonna just get whatever. No, it has to be mutually beneficial in the language that you need it in, because that's when your relationship thrives, when everybody gets what they want. Compromise is everybody getting a little bit of something that they want. You probably don't give me my words of affirmation 7 days a week. I probably don't get it every day. But if you just maybe twice a month, or when I ask you, hey, I'm feeling away, tell me your thoughts. And you just be like, you are amazing. You was kind, you was smart, you was important. Okay, I'm good for the next month, because I got my words of affirmation. Does it make sense? If that person is willing, I can compromise. But if they're unwilling, I cannot.
No, I could get with that. So there is a big difference between that. Unwilling, but willing to do it. But you might not get that every single day. Absolutely. Like I'm just not, and that would be kind of draining, right? Like that literally would be draining for anybody, which then can go into the lines of actually being toxic, because now you're draining me. And Absolutely. Every time I see you, I gotta affirm you. Mm-hmm. And why?
That's right.
If you need that much affirmation in one day, every day, then you're actually battling something totally different than what we're even. Yeah, because at this point, you don't even know your value. You don't even know how you would even esteem yourself. You don't even know your real worth, because the only thing that you can live off of is words, and you can't even find it within yourself to just exude it. So I definitely can get with that. That makes perfect sense. And also, as far as, because a lot of times when it comes down to compromise and understanding personality types, one of the things that I can say, like on my former job, we literally had to take personality tests. Mm-hmm. They needed to understand who we were as far as our personality, to understand how we would actually be able to work together as a team, right? So if you have all of these type A's in one group, you already know everybody's smart, everybody's right, ain't nobody really going to be working together in that group, okay? Because type A's are very much so righteously indignant to their own thought.
That's right. Because and you know what I've done, and not to interrupt you, but I'm just going to say, for those who are type A's, if you want to be emotionally intelligent in a type A environment, you decide to be the introverted one. That's the one that has the most strength when you're the quietest in the room with a bunch of type A's. I learned that very early on, and that way they respect you, because they're like, why is she kind of low key? Because I'm not trying to tell you how smart I am. I know how smart I am. So I'm going to let all y'all look dumb together, and I'm going to be quiet.
And on the other side, it really does work, because then once you actually do speak, because you're not speaking over everyone, people actually do listen.
Absolutely.
Because I'm type A and type B. So depending upon, and when I'm home, I'm C and D, right? So I had to recognize that about myself, that when I'm working, especially under high stress, I'm type A. I need answers. I am the problem solver. I am going to do all the types of root cause analysis. This is what I'm going to do. But then I can move into type B, where I can strategize if I'm not under stress, right? But when I'm home and I'm in a creative environment, I'm more creative, I'm more calm, I'm a big thinker, I'm big picture. And I think a lot of times we don't understand who we are within our own personalities and within who we are as an individual, that when we then come into play with other people, we begin to clash, because we're like, this goes against who I am. Like, I don't understand this. And my former manager, she probably is the one person that literally helped me to understand how to flow in all environments, in a room full of people that are just not like you.
That's right.
And how do you engage everybody so that not that you become the most likable person, but that you literally become a person that people can actually count on and talk to and literally depend on. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not going to like you. It's just what it is. But people have to respect you. So how do I become that respectable person? I got to know how to move in a whole room. I can't just move within the realm that I'm in. And I think that sometimes within relationships, you hear people, they always screaming, oh, no new friends. Well, that's your problem, because you don't know how to evolve. You don't know how to form new possibilities. So then you
Yes.
keep yourself cut off to everything
Right.
that could be new, and you stay within the old.
That's right. Period.
I don't agree with that. I need
I,
folks to
I don't
evolve.
like that. Yes.
Your
And
life
that,
should evolve. I'm damn near 40 years old. I do not have the same friends when I was 10. And I'm just saying, and granted, there are some people that have been around since I was 10, right?
sure.
But we've evolved in our life to where I know how to meet new people and I know how to engage new people into my life. That's my
right.
point. But sometimes when no new friend, everybody took that little Drake song and next thing you know, oh, no new friend. What? It's something. If you don't know how to create bonds with people, because that's what friendship is, literally creating a bond. If you don't know how to create bonds with people, that means something is literally lacking within yourself. Within how do you relate to people? And that was one of the things I said. I was like, sometimes we have so many issues relating to people.
Yes.
And how do we solve that issue where we just literally, we don't know how to relate? And I don't know how we thought that, you know what I'm saying? But I'm just throwing that out there because that is one of the things that I have realized has been a major hindrance in a lot of our lives. We don't know how to relate.
Well, let me just say this. Jesus talked about, it was a Jesus or Paul. I can't remember because, today is Wednesday and I ain't feeling holy today. So, but the Bible says,
somebody said, hello.
It is written, but it says, it talks about being all things to all men, right? And I'm going to tell you how I'm able to relate to everybody. I don't care who you are, rich, poor. You might not like me when I walk in the room, but by the time we're done, I'm going to either be telling you, lift your hands, woman of God, come on, right now, lift your hand. Or I'm going to be hugging you, or I'm going to be making you laugh, right? That is something that I asked God to put in me because I want when people leave my presence, they feel like, yo, I was in her presence and I feel like I can do anything. I feel like that's a prayer of mine, right? And so I want people to feel like this girl makes me do stuff that I didn't even know I could do. Right. And so where I learned to relate with people is two ways. Number one, always compliment people. Fine. I don't care how they look. They could be looking busted, honey. I mean, busted. Okay. Mask and all. Crazy. But find something that you can compliment. Oh my gosh, I love your nail color. Oh my God, I love your shoes. Honey, I will pull over, ask my children. The Bell children, I need to do a live with just the Bell kids so they can tell you about their mama. I am the person that will pull up I could be driving on the phone, talking to somebody, and I see somebody walking up with some shoes. I'll be like, hold on 1 second. Let my window down. Girl, your shoes. And they'll stop and look like me. And I'm like, girl, your shoes. And start with a compliment. I don't care who they are. If you compliment, that's a good way to relate. You don't have to relate as in our life stories match or we come from the same background, but sometimes it can be something as small as complimenting that person, somebody, a complete stranger, right? And people that you're trying to rebuild with. Find something to compliment. Oh, I saw your new business venture. I bought something from you, or whatever. You relate on that level. Another way that I relate with people is that one of my business mantras and just life mantras and friendship mantras, I always want the people in my circle to feel heard. I always want you to feel heard, even if I disagree with you. And I will tell you, well, we can agree to disagree and then we move on. But we probably should talk about that too from a healthy. Let's go back to that. But I always find it healthy for a person to feel heard. So sometimes I'm learning that people are so used to not being heard. That's why they talk loud. That's why they use insulting language. That's why they use self-deprecating conversation and start tearing themselves down because they don't feel heard. So they say stuff for shock value because they're like, I know she's gonna hear this, right? So if you've ever been on the phone with me, I'm very quiet. And then they'll say, hello? Like, I'm here. But people aren't used to being heard. They're not. So if I feel like I'm going to interrupt you, I'll write it down, right? That's a healthy way to engage and relate to people. So that's what I do. I make sure people are heard, even if we disagree. And we don't have to agree, but everybody on this planet wants to be heard. And that's a great way to relate to people.
It is. And it was Paul, because this is why we can serve.
Come on, Paul. I
It was
knew
the-
somebody said it.
Listen, the good apostle Paul said in the good 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22, he said, okay, we got to boom, 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 and look it up.
Is that the same scripture with we must be written epistles read of men, or is that a different one? Child, I know where it's at. I mean, I know
it's in the book. It's in the book.
That's why Jesus said it is written.
Listen here, because it's truly in the, let's see, A, B, it's in the B clause of verse 22 in chapter 9, 1 Corinthians, and it says, I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means I might save some.
There you go. So that's how I live my life, to relate, to make sure that I can do what I need to do, to be who I need to be for them, and still not compromise who I am.
But that makes sense. And that's a good, that right there, that's a good tip for us. And I'm definitely not trying to take it off topic, but what I will say is that truly is a good tip for us with how we are to win people when it comes down to the body of Christ.
Absolutely. Okay.
And when we don't fully understand that, when Paul said, I have become all things to all people, all means all. There is no caveat to all. And some of y'all, and I know the folks get upset with me, but that's okay, because I'm used to they upsetness and all their little attitudes and their little snide remarks. I'm used to it by now. It does not move me, nor does it shake me. However, until you learn how to be all things to all people, you will continue to be nothing to no one. It's just that simple.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all go ahead and tweet that. And Cash App is Nakia. What's your Cash App? Let me tell the thing. Naisha, do me a favor. Put this in the comments, okay? Put Nakia's Cash App in the comments, because I'm sure gonna send me a seed. Nakia A. Nakia.
Wait. It's $sign Nakia M, right?
Send mother a seed. I don't care if it's $2, because that was a whole word right there. Okay.
And I mean that, because that's the problem. We don't know how to be all things to all people. And that's a big issue that we have with learning how to relate to people.
That's right.
And this is important. This goes for every relationship that we have. How does it begin? Relationship. Therefore, how do I relate to you? How do I become all things to you in all things? How do we do that?
Yeah.
It's a very simple concept. Yes, I don't have to agree with you.
That's right.
You don't have to agree with me. Mm-hmm. But if we could come down to a common understanding of this, listen, I love you. Mm-hmm. And that's how I am. That's how I live my life. I love you. I don't care what you did, what you said, all of that. I don't care how you live. I don't care about your choices. I don't care about none of that stuff, but I love you. And I think that if we truly gain that love, the Bible is very clear. The Bible says that you are to love your neighbor as you love yourself. And then it says, and above all, love. Mm-hmm. And above that, there is no other. Above that, there is no other law but to love. And we a lot of us are truly failing in all forms of relationship, whether it's business practice, whether it's personal, whatever form of relationship that we have, is because we have a love issue. Ooh, and we don't know how to love. Don't know how to love. We don't know how to love unconditionally. We want to love with conditions. My love is conditional upon you agreeing with me. My love is conditional upon you not doing this to me. My love is conditional upon, and that, you know what? And the truth of the matter is, because a lot of people questioned my decision-making skills, right? Especially with my ex, and well, how could you stay and how could you this? Because I chose to love, because the Bible tells me that love covers a multitude of sins. Right. So if I truly am living in this word, even though you might have hurt me, I still chose love. Now, even in that, right, once I realized that you're actually rejecting it, right?
Come on. Yes.
There's a difference. The Bible is very clear. When you become a reprobate, you're actually rejecting the love of God, right?
Absolutely.
Let's be clear. Now, if I begin to realize that even though love covers a multitude of sins, but you're now rejecting that love, I then have to make a decision to see that no, my love is not covering you.
Listen, that's so good. That's a good way to turn. Come on, Pastor Nakia. Y'all don't know y'all podcast host is a whole pastor. Y'all better get with it. She know this word here.
Listen, they think I don't know it. That's why the folks.
They don't. They don't know. Yeah, let me tell. I don't know if they know, but Nakia is a whole, like, for real, not trying to be funny, but she really knows this word and how to. The Bible tells us to rightly divide the word of truth. If you can't rightly divide it, you can't even properly love people. You can't even, if you don't have a good relationship with the word, how are you going to relate to people? And then, especially you pastors and you collar wearing female preachers, no shade. But if you don't love the people that you say you're ministering to, you're a fraud, period. And you can say I said it and you can at me. You're a fraud. Because if people don't feel love when they're around you, you're a fraud. And that's why a lot of y'all can't keep nobody in your church. That's why I thank God for the pandemic, because it's smoking out all the fake people.
Sure is. Okay? And shutting them down.
And shut them down. So we have to get back to that mindset of, you know what, let me find a way. And if that person rejects me, I don't have to fight that. Like, stop fighting. And when people don't, that was one of the hardest lessons I had to learn about relationships. Like, I did this right. But if they rejected it, it's not me that they're rejecting. It's the love of God. Especially, I've had people tell me, well, what's your motive? Well, why are you being so nice to me? Well, why are you paying my rent? Well, why are you? I'm sorry. Does it matter? You didn't have to pay your rent this month, ma'am. Right? But we're so used to rejecting it, and people have to sell their soul to get what they want, that we even have to reteach the culture how to receive love. That's it. Receive sisterhood. I'm really big on sisterhood. Shout out to my own sister, Gail Tipton. She's my older sister, but she taught me about sisterhood. My mother taught. So when you learn about sisterhood, it's easy to relate to other people, other women especially. You learn sisterhood. Of course, all relationships have ups and downs, but your foundation should be the same. Love. That's it. That's it. It's nothing else.
It really isn't. One of the things that I never forget, this was years ago. I had to be about 8 years old or so. And me and my sister, Jessie, I love her. Happy gracious. She in Germany. She ain't watching, but it's okay. That's why she ain't gonna care that I'm telling this story. And if y'all tell her, I know y'all tell her. Anyway, we got into it. We was in Georgia for the summer, because my mother always sends us down to Georgia for the summer. And we got into a fist fight. Mm-hmm. I had anger issues growing up. I mean, sometimes I still have them.
Don't say.
I know, right? You ain't know that, but let me be transparent tonight, okay? So, and she had made me so angry, like I literally boxed my own sister, right? And when my mother heard about it, my mother called down to Georgia, and my mother said, "Let me speak to Nakia." She didn't want to speak to Jessie. Let me speak to Nakia. And Lori got on that good phone and told me, if you ever close your fist to your sister, I, myself, am going to close my fist to you. That is your sister. You don't ever box your sister.
That's right.
Because that's your sister. We don't tolerate that in this family. And my mother was not playing. And the fact that I remember that from that young age, because I never forget it, because I was so angry. Okay. Yeah. And then I got angry again. And I got angry again. And
y'all resend y'all cash apps. Don't just go ahead and cancel. Go ahead and cancel.
But I had to learn a lesson in my anger, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Don't put that upon your sister. That's your sister. You know what I'm saying? And after I got angry one last time, I never got angry like that again. because I had to learn a valuable lesson about sisterhood.
Yes.
And about how, because even Jessie had this one best friend, me and her, oh my God, like we almost went to blows a few times after school, going to that good high school. And I used to be like, you better get out my face. What you want to do? What you want? I was like, I was like, Jessie, you better get your friend. Because I can't, I'm not, Jessie, get your friend, okay? Get your friend up out my face, because this is not gonna, because she was known to like beat up people, and I was like, but you're not gonna beat me, so get your friend out my face, you know? Right. Because I had that, like, I was a very quiet person. I did not actually like to fight, but if I had to fight, I would, you know what I'm saying? Right. But I knew the respect of being friends, right? That friendship, that she was my sister's best friend. So no, right. You don't fight your sister's best friend, no matter how much it, and then the truth of the matter is, when we grew up, me and her became extremely close. We used to always go out together and stuff like that. And she was like, girl, you know, I was just picking on you. I was like, yeah, but you was going to catch that good faith, though, because you kept trying to test my good G, and I didn't like being tested like that, because you had other people thinking they could test it. And I wasn't really feeling it. I was trying to be like, calm, cool. But no, I didn't like that part. But it's a way in which how you build relationships with people.
That's right.
And I learned that from a young age, which is why I always took my friendships to be, they meant a lot to me. Although for some reason they always went through some of the most turmoil that I never really could fully understand. Like, why the hell is it so hard to be friends with women? To the point where I did become cool with men until I began to understand women better, right?
Yeah.
And I think that as women, we have to begin to understand each other better, so that we can then become friends and be better friends with each other, and stop swearing that everybody wants your man, everybody want to be like you, everybody.
Girl, you don't want your man. How about that?
How about it? Because you keep swearing everybody else want him. Clearly, you don't want him, because you want somebody else to want him, because you keep putting in that good atmosphere of the woman.
Can I just interject as it relates to women and friendship? I think so. There's a pattern among women where you have to know how to adjust. So women who do not have great relationships with their mother tend to be it's a little more difficult to have relationships with them. So if you look at your friends and look at all the women that you've ever had a run-in with, probably a little bit more than 60 or 70%, they didn't have a good relationship with their mom, or didn't have their mom in their life at all, okay? There is a sparring, okay? There's a sparring that women happen to have where we can verbally go back and forth. That's why I'm a huge advocate for having girlfriends outside of your man, because some of y'all be like, oh, my man is my best friend. Ma'am, mistake. Don't do that. Get you some girlfriends, because he cannot handle the emotional turmoil that we as women go through. They cannot handle that. They just looking at us like, I just want to know how to fix it. I just want to know how you're gonna stop crying. Okay,
and how you gonna get past this?
So, and they're like, you're not listening. I just want you to hear me. And he's not. He's like, I'm listening for the where I can fix it clause. So you need some girlfriends, okay? Even if it's 2 or 3 or 1. Jesus had Peter, James, and John. Ask the Lord to send you a Peter, James, and John in your life. Okay, there was the 12, and then there was the 3. Ask God to send you 3 people that you can, one that can handle your humanity, that you can cry with, cuss with. If you're a woman of God and you still need to have a friend that you can cuss with, get her. Okay, get you a friend that'll pull up. Hello, if you need to, and then get you your real saved friend, like sackcloth ashes. She will fast for you. I'm serious. So I call it having a life board of directors. And I teach this everywhere I go, that you have to have a life board of directors. And I'm going to get back to my point about women, but you have to have those people. Who's the chairman of your board? Who's your VP? Who is your next? What area? Everybody has an areas in their life. So that's why if you talk to one friend and she can like really handle it. And you talk to another friend and she's like, girl, what that got to do with me? But she's also the friend that you can turn up with. You got to know what types of friends you have in women. So stop. Everybody's not going to be like Nakia. Everybody's not going to be like Tamara. Everybody's not going to be like my sister. So you got to know what type of, like this relationship stuff, we've been so haphazard with how we've been handling relationships. That's why we can't keep no healthy relationships. There is a strategy in relationships, okay? If you want a healthy relationship, you got to bring your brain to this relationship,
All of
okay?
it.
All of it. So I said that to say, if you have a woman in your life or girlfriend, and she probably doesn't have a good relationship with her mom, sometimes if women, I've learned to verbally spar or have a healthy relationship or conversation. I'm really what I'm talking about is conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about knowing how to talk to women, knowing how to engage with them properly, knowing how to respond properly. You can tell if a woman is on her cycle. You'd be like, oh, she on her cycle. I'm gonna give you a pass for about 7 days. I'll be back and I'm gonna put you out when you done. Okay. Because I'm gonna give you a pass today. So not to single out the women that doesn't have a good relationship with their mom, but in their defense, if I did not have a woman to teach me how to be a woman with another woman, I'm not going to know how to do that. I'm not going to know. So your mom is your first teacher, whether for whatever it is. So your mom is the one, whether she's a good mama or a bad mama, or she did the best she could, she's your first teacher. Right? But if you hasn't been in your life, or maybe she didn't show up right, you got to make the assessment like, okay, I didn't learn healthy conversation. I didn't learn. Some women call their kids out of their names and things like that. Like I'm very careful with my daughter, what I say to her, not calling her out of her name, making sure, even if she's doing it, I still got to be careful because that will shape how she sees herself. Right?
Yep.
So if you have a girlfriend or set of girlfriends who they don't know how to relate with women the right way or in a healthy way, I'll say it that way, in a healthy way, maybe take this live, this broadcast and watch it with them, teaching them, going over love languages, going over apology languages. You can't change the past. We can't change what mama did or did not do. But what we can do is create a brighter future with how we relate to one another as women. And there's a difference in having a friend and having a sister. There are women in my life that is beyond friendship. It's beyond. I don't ever have to talk to her. I have a friend that I've had for almost 25 years, and we don't talk every day. But if I say, I need you here right now, shout out to Erica Tillis in California. If I need you here tomorrow, when I wake up in the morning, you need to be here. She's going to be on that plane. Okay. She was a bridesmaid in my wedding, but we don't talk every day. Right. So there's different. So I have a list for those of you who are business savvy or trying to be business savvy, download the app Evernote. Okay. So Evernote helps you keep things organized. So in my Evernote, I have a list that says friends. I had to assess who are my friends, who are my sisters, who are my acquaintances, and really understand where everybody stands, because I can't expect something from Nakia that she may not have the capacity for, but I'm like, oh, but she can do this, but this one can do this. You got to be strategic with your relationships.
Yep.
And then that helps you know how to show up. And then when conflict arises, you can't treat a sister like you would treat a friend.
Right.
Because the friend will be like, okay, well, have a nice life. But your sister is like, you can't get rid of me. There's nothing you can do, say. At the end of the day, you still my sister, period.
You stop.
Right? So that's so I just wanted to throw that out there, that give your girlfriends who probably did not have good relationships with their moms grace, because they may be the hardest not hardest, but they just need a little more patience, because if they weren't taught how to relate well with women, they will have a tough time.
That's the truth. And they will. And some of us truly do.
Yeah.
It just is what it is. And we have to learn to say that it is okay as long as we're trying to improve and become better. You know, a lot of times we stay
Absolutely.
stuck in what's not okay. Oh my God, I just didn't know. Just acknowledge it, and now let's become better. And that's where, you know, a lot of differences come in at, because we want to stay stuck in the acknowledgement phase, but we don't want to become better. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
so then
Absolutely.
we get stuck in this level where, okay, well, I still don't want to be your friend.
Right. And that's okay.
And it's fine, because I'm just not going to, because
I've had people tell me, I don't want to be your friend. One lady told me, the friend you need, I can't be her, because that means I got to actually show up, and I don't want to do that. I said, okay, well, I appreciate you. I mean, because you should always know where you stand with people. The Bible says always be ready to give an answer for the hope that's in you. I don't be thank you telling me you don't like me, or that you don't want to be my friend, or you don't want to talk to me. So that way I'm not sitting in turmoil like, well, what's going on? No, she lets you know what it was.
And you know what? And that has been my whole thing. I think I am upfront, right? So if I don't want to talk to you, you're going to know I don't want to talk to you. Mm-hmm. I cannot deal with people that run and just hide and they don't say it. So they just block you, and you be like, what the hell did I do to you?
Right. Right.
Did I hurt you? And then you ask them, be like, yo, did you block me? No response. You know what? That's a lot of energy that I literally don't have, right? Like now I am 39 years old. I refuse to put that level of energy into anybody. Like there comes a certain point in time in everyone's life that you have to assess your own maturity, right?
Yes, that's the word. Yeah. Oh, y'all give her cash out back. Assess your own maturity. That's the word. Let me get it on my board. Hold on. Assess
your own maturity. And I literally had to take, like, especially within these last 2 years, I had to literally assess my own maturity. And then I had a good conversation with my friend Angel yesterday, and she said, sis, I just have to tell you something. A lot of these folk that you keep being around, you've grown past, and I just need you to understand that, because you keep trying to drag them along with you, and you're past that. So you need not keep doing that, because you're actually dragging yourself down. You know, and I was like, yeah, wait a minute. What? And then me, I'm like, you know me, Adrienne, you know me, I gotta assess my own maturity, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm like, and I had to think about that all 24 hours. I had to think about that. And I said, oh snap, she right? Yeah. I had to literally assess that thing. And I was like, oh, okay, you know what? I got to start monitoring this and think and being mindful of what comes out of my heart.
Yes.
That then gets typed in the good book.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Because I might not speak it, but I sure enough will type something, and people will be like, and my friend told me today, she was like, no, you know, Nikki, sometimes you come across like you just hate the whole church. I said, no, I just don't like the chitlin circuit. And she was like, you know, right. I said, and I said it. And she was like, you know, but what's perceived is something different. And I was like, you know what? Okay, then I got to assess how I write what I'm saying, right? Because people don't fully, if they don't know you, they don't necessarily know your heart. So that's why I said, you got to assess your own maturity. You literally have to dial back and say, okay, wait, what I might be saying might be relevant, but it might be coming off in an immature way, right?
Absolutely.
So now I need
girlfriends to be like, girl, let me just get this cuss out real quick.
Hello.
Like, I'm serious. You have to get that, because you will bleed out on social media. It's so easy to pick up that phone and just say stuff, and then people be like inboxing you, you all right? And then you get an attitude because they're inboxing you asking if something's wrong. It's like, ma'am, you put up basically a post crying for help, and they're asking you what's wrong with you. Right? That's why you need girlfriends. You can be like, this is when my friends know when I say, I need you to check my spirit, they know that I'm really about to somebody about to get dragged. Okay. Because I'm the person that'll pull up at your house and I will drag you, and then I will help you up, dust you off, and say, lift your hands, woman of God, and lay hands on you and sow a seed and go back home. Okay. I'm that person. Okay. So I've learned check my spirit. Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe I'm processing this wrong. Help me. And that's healthy when you're dealing with relationships. That doesn't mean you gossip about people. That don't mean when you get into a conflict with somebody, then you all, sending subliminal messages on social media.
Yeah,
First of all,
corny.
Again, it's corny. It's like, oh, here we go. Now, there's a difference.
Tag you. I'm not. You know what? Back in the beginning days of social media, I was subliminal. And today, I'm tagging you.
So I just want people to be more mindful that we have a responsibility to properly communicate, not just what we feel, but listening to what that person feels, and then we come to an understanding. And sometimes that understanding is we agree to disagree.
Or the understanding is you have your opinion, I got mine. Whether everybody's not going to agree. And okay. I don't understand why we think that everybody needs to agree, right? My whole thing is this, and let me say that I never feel the need to agree with everybody, because we all are individual selves and we all have our own individual ways of processing information, data, everything. So we come up with the conclusion in our mind for how we're going to say something, how we're going to believe something, how we're going to think something, whatever the case may be. I'm also not one to say that you cannot comment on anything that I do with an opposing opinion. But when you comment on something, especially on the good social media, with an opposing opinion, but your opposing opinion is actually attempting to degrade or attack me, I just might drag you.
Right? Because I'm like, especially if you don't even be on my page, and I'll be like,
you don't even comment on my good stuff, but you come on one post and you want to disagree on this one post.
That's right. That's right.
I just might drag you.
It's tough. It really is.
And then I'll delete your whole comment.
Oh, dang, that's tough. Well, can I say this one thing?
Yes.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I said
I don't know what's my time. Like what time am I supposed to be done?
Good. No, because we're talking. So this is I think this is really helping people, because we need to help people understand relationship. That's why I said, no, I'm bringing wifeability, lifeability, all the abilities here today, the strategist ability, all of that, all of the abilities I'm bringing today, because we need this level of balance. We have to have it. And everybody has to understand who they are, and we have to begin to assess our own maturity. Go ahead.
Absolutely. I love that. That is, I need you to put that on a t-shirt. Assess your own maturity. That's amazing. I love that.
Chantel, if you watching, Change Val, if you watching, come on, let's get it popping. Y'all already know. I got so many t-shirt ideas. Let's get it. And if somebody's taking it, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to come on your post and I'm going to drag you.
So I want to say this. I want to talk a little bit about trust. So in relationships, sometimes people feel like, I don't trust you. I just don't trust you. I just don't trust. Like, I have trust issues. That's a red flag. Especially if you just meet a person and they start off telling you that they have trust issues, probably going to be a problem. So I ask you to just kind of guard yourself, because sometimes when people show up like that, they're going to find things to accuse. They're going to be picky. They're going to pick you apart. They're going to pick apart your words. Well, what do you mean by that? Well, why'd you say it like that? Well, what does that mean? It's like, whoa, what are we really getting to? And sometimes that's their own insecurity, their own trauma that they haven't addressed, whatever the case may be. But here's the thing about trust issues. The Bible never said we were supposed to trust anyone.
No.
Nobody.
It did not.
It never said that. It says we trust God. That's the goal. We're not supposed to put our confidence in man. We're supposed to put it in God. Now, Adrienne, what I do, everybody starts at 100%. That's my healthy way of engaging in relationships, no matter if it's business or personal or whatever. Everybody starts at 100% because you want to start every relationship optimistically. You never want to start a relationship through your own wounds or your own trauma or your own pain. You want to start relationships optimistically. Now, I'm not talking about being dumb. I'm talking about being optimistic. Optimistic is hoping for the best, preparing for the best, doing your part, whatever the case may be. Now, I'm the type of person is once the trust gets down to 80% because maybe you did something I didn't like or whatever, I start making deductions from there, right? But I don't start off like everybody at zero. You gotta build my trust. You gotta earn my trust, ma'am. First of all, I don't want to be your friend that bad, okay? Where I gotta do all of that. Stop it. Even when you're engaging with men, like if you're trying to engage in a healthy relationship with men, whether it move on to engagement and marriage and all that, you got to start at 100%. Now, if he starts doing things to deduct from that 100%, once he gets down to zero, then you're done. What we talking about? Especially if you've established the boundaries, established what's good and what's not, what's hurtful and what's not. And sometimes you don't know something hurts you until it happens, right? So you got to give yourself a little grace, like, okay, this has never happened. No one's ever done this. How do I feel about it? Then you communicate. I've never had this happen before, so I'm gonna give you a pass for this, or I'm gonna forgive you and we're gonna move forward. But some of us have triggers that happen in relationships, and then it causes us not to trust anybody. And that is unhealthy. And it's causing people to sabotage really good relationships, whether it be friends, whether it be romantic. It's causing us to sabotage relationships. So don't get so caught up in you got to trust. It's all about trust, honey. It's all about trust. It is all about trust. But if the person is working to get back to wholeness and getting back to mending, then you take them for their word. But if they're, again, that word unwilling, if they're unwilling to make it whole again, then they don't need to be in your life. So don't be a slave to I got trust issues. That puts vibrations and energy in the atmosphere, in the spirit world, whoever God you serve. I'm talking about the heavenlies, whatever you put out there, that's what you're going to get back. So you're going to get a bunch of people that don't trust you either. And then you mad because they're like, well, I ain't really done nothing to her. But sweetheart, keep that same energy that you had when you were like, I don't trust nobody. You're going to attract the same people. And then what happens? You get rejected. Then you have to deal with that. So it's like this cycle. So when you put that stuff in the atmosphere, it comes back in the same manner in which you put it out. So I just wanted to address handling trust as a not being so haphazard with it, and give everybody a chance until they start making deductions. And once they get down to zero, then you're done. That's it.
But like you just said, the thing about it is that also when you realize that you're not fully healed from experiences of the past, right? There is a way in which that you can actually communicate that effectively.
Yes.
So that the person that you are with understands that you might not fully be healed, but you're working towards it, right? Then on top of that, now this is where I'm gonna keep saying, because you know what, that was good, and I really gotta, I'm gonna point that. This is where you really do have to assess your own maturity, right? Like a few weeks ago, I had a situation occur, right? And it really wasn't even a situation. But I could have used the situation as a trigger, right? That would have been detrimental to me as a person, right? But I then had to recognize that, no, this is not what it seems, because what I am doing is I'm channeling something from the past and I'm about to apply it to today. And that's going to be detrimental to tomorrow. So you know what to do? Don't say nothing, accept it, and see what happens after the fact, because you have to learn how to even assess the other person's maturity. What is their integrity? What is their character? Like I said this last week, because a lot of times we use things as triggers. Like everyone wants to talk about a trigger, but you don't want to talk about how do you resolve the trigger. I don't always have to pull it.
That's right.
But
That's
we want
right.
to keep talking about, oh, you triggered me, you triggered me, you triggered me. No, you didn't. I am very big on self-reflection and
Mm-hmm.
having full knowledge of self. So
Yeah,
I will never look at someone else and absolve myself of my own responsibility, right?
that's right.
So
That's right.
I can't say you triggered me. What I can say is this situation triggered something deep down in my mental abilities and my emotional state of being. So
Yeah,
now I need to resolve, how did this make me feel so that I don't feel this way going forward.
that's right.
That's what I do, because
Yeah.
we always want to point this trigger, you know what I'm saying? And not saying that people aren't triggered, right? But we
Mm-hmm.
have to learn how to deal with those triggers. If I identify it as a trigger, does it always have to be pulled?
That's good.
Do I always have to go into that feeling of how I felt 15 years ago because this is a trigger? Or
Mm-hmm.
can I assess where I am today and say, you know what? That would have triggered me back then because that was then. But now I need to assess where I am, and I need to assess who am I speaking to. I need to assess the situation and say, is this really a trigger? Hell no, this ain't no trigger. This is not a trigger.
That's right.
This was the situation. This was a little mishap. This was
Yeah.
whatever it was, and now I need to move on from it. And we don't know how to do that because, and I'm not saying that we are not in an age where mental illness is not real, because it
Yeah.
is real.
Sure.
But what we're also not dealing with is how to resolve certain things, which is why
Absolutely.
you have people suffering from anxiety all the
Mm-hmm.
days of their life, because all I'm telling you is you have anxiety. Well,
Mm-hmm.
what is causing this anxiety?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Is
Mm-hmm.
it your thoughts? If it's your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, which thoughts are they? Are they thoughts of the past, or are they thoughts of current? Are
Mm-hmm.
you over analyzing situations in your mind to where it's causing you to literally come into a state of panic? Is
Yeah.
it something that you're not dealing with that is causing you to come into a state of panic? And I had to, I myself, there have been times where people might say certain things to me, and I will literally go into a full out panic attack, and won't nobody know I'm panicking but me, because my heart is racing, my mind is going, and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like I'm about to die. And then I have to understand what the hell just triggered that, Nakia. What part of whatever they just said have you not dealt with yet that is literally causing you to feel like you're losing your mind?
That's
and then
good.
I got to deal with that.
That's good.
But we're such in a society where we don't want to deal with situations. I just want a pill for it. No, I don't need a pill. I need to learn how to deal, because I am dealing with this right now. So now I need to learn, how do I resolve it? How do I move forward from it? How do I not allow that right there to cause me so much anguish and pain that I constantly relive it in my thoughts? That's
right.
where I'm, and like I said, I'm not diminishing, mental illness. I know that mental illness is very real. I know that, at the end of the day, there are some things that are literally caused by a chemical imbalance in your brain that literally shoots out different things within your nerves, which causes certain damage to your physical self. That I'm not talking about. I'm literally just talking about things in which we do not necessarily deal with, that we really need to take the time and deal with this, so that we can have healthy relationships across the board, so that we can love freely across the board, so that we can be free in even our communication and how we partner with people. A lot of people, I've heard a lot of people say this, like, oh, if I was to ever, become divorced or whatever, I would never remarry. Or, you know what, if I come out of this relationship, I'll never go back into another relationship. I'll just have friends. And to me, that's sad.
Yeah, it is.
To me, right? Because to me, I'm like, one of the best things that, for me, I think, is companionship and partnership
Absolutely.
together, not separate. Because when you're just my friend, all right, we cool. You could be my partner. But when you're my man, you're my husband, I have a companion and a partner.
That's good. That's so good.
And I think that is important, when you could literally have both. But we've become accustomed to so many, because a lot of people suffer from so many different things that we have not fully mastered the benefit of having a companion and a partner all in one. We feel that, you know what I'm saying, once we get married, two become one, so therefore we need to do everything together. No, we don't.
Please don't do that. Please don't do that.
I need you to be your individual self. I need me to be my individual self. And then when we come together, let us be what we are together. But listen, right. If you want to go get a haircut, I'm not coming with you to the barbershop. I am not tagging along to the barbershop. Okay.
Right.
I am not that person. If you want to go with your friends, I'm not. No. And you don't need to tell me what time you coming home, none of that stuff. Because when I go out, I don't want that level of restriction on me either. I believe that there is a way that you can literally have real healthy relationships that don't require so much clinginess.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? I'm the type of, I like to miss you. I want to miss you. I want you to go somewhere so I can be like, guys, come on, walk through this door, okay?
I know that's right.
Let me see what you wear, Belle. You sexy, okay? Tell them hold them yet still here, okay?
How about that? Yet still, okay? I know that's right.
Flash that when they see you so they understand. But gosh, you wearing that. You better go ahead and be that. Yeah. But that's me. You understand what I'm saying? And I know that's not everybody, but that's me. So I'm like, at a certain point in time, we have to begin to understand each other so that we do not do this with everybody, because everybody is not like that. Mm-hmm. And when they're not like that, that's where sometimes compromise becomes a big problem.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, we compromise so, like you said, when we literally compromise so much to where we lower our standard. Mm-hmm. You can't compromise. Like, I know I did. I compromised to the point where I lowered my standard, and not just in that last relationship, in all them other ones too. Right. To the point where you literally lower your standard of.
And I've done it in my marriage. I've done with the same guy. I've done it. It's a human nature, especially as women. We have been trained to adjust. So sometimes we do it to our detriment. And God is even sitting back like, fool, I ain't tell you to do that. Don't be talking about being submissive. I ain't tell you to submit to that foolishness. Stop it. He stopped lying on God, talking about he told you to submit to your husband robbing the bank. Talking about something, well, we got to obey him. No, we don't. Not for that. I'm not going to do that. Okay. I preached a sermon years ago called Sapphira didn't have to die. Remember Ananias and Sapphira? Yes. Read the Bible, sugar. And so so basically they lied to the Holy Ghost, right? And they lied and they said, so they were all supposed to sell their stuff and bring the proceeds to the prophet. And they was like, this how much we had. And the husband went in there first and lied. And the wife, she saw him dead and she lied too and had to die. She didn't have to die. So some of us call it submission and we're all clingy and we just want to do whatever they're doing. That doesn't necessarily mean we have to like just lose ourselves and call it submission or love or being a wife. Right. That ain't in nobody's Bible. Sorry, not even in the Quran.
It wasn't in there?
It's not in there. I looked. It wasn't.
It wasn't in there? Because that was black. I know that's the truth right there. Because even Esther said, okay, when she went to go see that good king, she said, "If I die, I die." Hello. Period. There are some things that I can't submit to. Okay.
Right. That's it.
Hello.
Like, knock it off.
You know what? I think I'm gonna do a Bible. I might have to start back my good Bible study one of these good days, because I'm tired of the folk. The folk want to sit up here and misinterpret, take all of the scriptures out of context and want to teach them, the men and the women, wrong, because it's both.
That's right. It's both. That's absolutely right.
Because half these little wayward people running around here acting like they David. Stop it.
Tell us something, I'm a man after God's own heart. What if you that ain't mean you have to be a hoe, sir? Okay. You ain't David and you ain't no king. Okay?
You ain't have to kill the real husband because you want to sleep with the wife. Stop playing. You're with your foolery. Just a foolishness. Oh, well, I'm like Noah. So you want to be a drunkard your whole life.
Yeah, we need to stop lying on God and the word.
The whole word. And be real. And that's my whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of time, like somebody had put up yesterday, it was somewhere on Facebook, and it said, a man will do anything for a woman that he truly wants to be with. And I'm like, where do we come up with a lot of this stuff from?
Yeah, like no. Donald will be like, it's a no for me, dog. I ain't doing that. I mean, if it's like, what are we doing this for? No. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what is anything? Like, what are you really expecting here? Are we really the cat in the mouse? So I got to chase you?
Or happy
Like,
wife,
what?
happy life is the biggest lie ever,
It is.
because some of these broads are insatiable. No matter what you do, no matter what you buy, no matter, you could be a speaking in tongues, weightlifting, a sex 3 times a day, father of the century, and she's still not satisfied.
Listen, you
So
said,
men, be free. That ain't
hello,
real. Single men, be
be
free.
free.
Don't be talking about no happy wife, happy life. Now, the scripture does say in 1 Peter 3:7, it talks about your prayers will be hindered if you don't treat your wife right. Now, that's the scripture. I ain't make that up. See, they don't talk about that. They only talk about the wives submit to your husband. See, they don't go on over to Peter, because Peter said, if you don't treat her right, your prayers will be hindered. So any husbands that are watching and you're trying to figure out why your business plan isn't working, or why you can't get to the next level on your job, check how you're treating your wife, because that's the key to your success. It really is. And once Donald Bell, he got that 1 Peter down in his soul.
What happened?
Listen, it got on way deep down in there. Okay. And listen, I mean, but we married very young. I was 22, he was 25. Who knows what they doing at 22 and 25, including me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so we have to, as we're continuing with that healthy conversation, that healthy relationship with whom we're with, even those of us who are calling ourselves Christians, we got to make sure we rightly divide this word as it relates to the word, as it relates to relationships, because we're using the Bible, the scripture that says, mark those that create division among you. Now, listen, that is true. You are supposed to do that. But if you marking the people that just, you like, sugar, she old, she don't know what she doing. You can't have a 97-year-old mother Ethel out on the street. Yes, she is messy and she gossips, but you're going to have to assess her maturity. Okay.
Hello,
Just because she old don't mean she mature. Okay. So those of you who are like, oh, she should know better, she older. Some people, there's a term in psychology called arrested development. And in arrested development, that means that, look at what Kanye did the other day. When Kanye started he started crying like he was 3 years old, talking about his daddy 5 years old. That man has some arrested development. So if you're ever in a relationship with somebody, whether it be another woman or a man, and they start acting like a teenager or a 10-year-old, you'll be like, okay, now that's when we should be talking about some triggers. How did we get here? Right? Knowing who you're in relationship, that's huge. And sometimes people have arrested development. Some people had trauma at 16, so they act like a teenager. Some people had trauma at 10, so they act like a kid. It just depends on their last trauma, when their parents left them, when maybe their father died or went to prison or whatever. If a person has some kind of break in how they handle relationships, it's probably arrested development, very immature in how they engage, how they talk, all of that. They could be having an arrested development issue. That's not necessarily a mental illness, but it is a mental health challenge, because if you don't get that taken care of, you can sabotage relationships. You can ruin relationships. Back to your original question, you can ruin. And then you had to ask yourself, I had arrested development. I had to call my sister. This was years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. And I had some residue there from when I was a kid. And when I was talking to her about it, I literally talked about it I started crying like I was 10, because that issue that happened when I was around 10. Wow. And that was my own experience with arrested development, because my sister asked me, like, what's up with you? Like, did I do something to you? Like, what's going on? And I really had to assess that. And because you can have arrested development with a person, and not necessarily with everybody that you're engaged with, but you can have a arrested development with your mom, with your dad, with people in your family, whatever, or even the person that you're maybe intimate with. You can experience arrested development, right? And that just means I am arrested. I am stuck at the place of where that trauma took place. I'm stuck. So now how do I get unstuck? You got to talk about it. You got to deal with it. You got to heal it. If you got to go to therapy, do it. But if you have any places in your soul that have not been addressed and you call it, I don't tell people my business, you're not a candidate for marriage, beloved. If you want to be married and you refuse to deal with your soul wounds and your soul trauma, you're not a candidate for marriage, because you're going to take all of that foolishness into that person's life, and whatever they bring is already going to be enough to deal with whatever that is, right? So it's like, at least let's try to be whole before we get married. Right? Let's just try it. Or let's try to be whole even in our platonic relationships.
Yes.
Right? We have to. So I just want to piggyback on that.
No, because that's real good. Because just like you said, arrested development is when you are literally stuck in the place where the trauma occurred. So
right.
even if you're not, even if you're just dealing with friends, you will be irrational. You start having emotional outbursts.
Yeah.
You temper tantrums. And you be like,
what is happening right now?
And I don't even know how to deal with this. I'm that person, right? I'm being honest. I do not know how to deal with that. I will literally be like, you want me to call you back?
And this is where I say, tell me what you don't. Do you not feel heard? And usually when I say that, they just break. They just tell me everything, probably more than I want to hear, because I'm listening. But you got to be graced for that kind of stuff. Because if you like, I ain't graced for that, I don't want to do that. And you don't have to be. That's why you got to have different set of friends. Because if I call you,
gotta know that friend, because
and that doesn't make you a bad person. You know, it's all about capacity too. Friendship is about capacity. That doesn't mean dumb or smart. It means capacity. What am I equipped to deal with? Okay. If I need money, I call my rich friends. I don't call my broke friends. They can't help me. I'm just saying, like, I know what I can do and what I can't. I know their capacity. But my rich friends, I'm not going to call them and be like, pray for me. I mean, I might. I'm just saying.
I get what you're saying.
I know who I need to share that with. So when they're having those emotional outbursts and you looking at them like, yeah, I'm going to tap out on this one because I can't. So listen, ask my mama. I'll be like, hey, so-and-so gonna call you. She be like, who do you have calling me? Because that's above my pay grade. Mama, you go ahead and take this one. Okay?
No, but that's real, because one of the things that I learned as I, studied this whole life coaching thing, right? Life coaches do not deal with mental illness.
Correct.
Right? So when you know who you are, I know my abilities. Right. That is not one of them. So I need to refer you, mother. Okay. I think that this person might need to talk to you because I'm not equipped to deal with that level of an illness. There's different. Like, if you need me to if you want to break down steps of life and be like, boom, 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 I could do that. If you're willing to listen, because if you're not willing to listen, then I ain't got time to don't be ringing my phone, because that's a waste of my time and my mouth. I tell people all the time, my words is very valuable. So if you're going to waste it, listen, don't waste me and my valuableness, because I don't have time for that. So because if you're not, we're not there yet. But when it comes down to other things, I'm a listener. So I will be dead silent and I'm going to listen, but there's nothing I can really offer to help get you over that hump.
That's right.
Right? Because at the end of the day, what you're experiencing really might be a mental breakdown I'm not equipped to handle.
That's right.
So you might
say the wrong thing and they're suicidal and say, you said that. Yeah, you gotta know, man. You gotta know, because you can mess somebody up with the wrong response. Or these super religious people. You just need to pray. You just need to fast. No, she needs to call 911, sugar. She don't need the prayer
spirit. You got a spirit.
Come on, man. Like, everything is not a spirit. Some stuff is just really like, I'm jacked up and I need some help. I really do. And I had to learn that. And that goes back to what I was talking about earlier, what Tamara Fields taught me, is like, when you're helping people, you got to know when that's above you. Like, and that doesn't make you a bad friend. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you know your limits and your capacity. right? And then that's healthy, because in relationships, we're taught to give of ourselves, but we're really not taught to preserve ourselves.
Right.
It's either all or none. It's either be selfish or just be a complete like idiot where you're giving away your whole life, right? There is a healthy balance. Right? Jesus said, he said, lo, I will be with you always. But that doesn't mean, but even though people end up in hell or whatever you want to call it, he was like, well, you RSVP'd. I still love you though. And I'm still with you. But I just, you didn't want to go to heaven when we was going. Right. So I just, I can't. Like, I can't, like he's not going to make us do anything. And that's how I had to learn. I can't make people be healed. I can't make people have good relationships with me or anybody else. If they're unwilling, that has nothing to do with me.
Right. And I need to learn how to chalk up them deuces and be like, all right, you know what? Okay. It's all right. We tried.
We tried.
We just didn't succeed all the way. But you know what? For where we did succeed at, we good.
That's right.
We're happy about where we good at. So absolutely. No, I think I really do think that is good. And, at the end of the day, it will help people, because we have to really and truly learn how to assess healthy relationships.
Absolutely.
All this stuff is about assessment. And that's a lot of the things that we fail to realize is that there are things that we need to assess. There are some things that I need to analyze for myself. There are some things that I need to realize for myself. There are some things that I literally need to internalize for myself, and then know what is it that I'm giving off, right?
Absolutely.
We always want to talk about energy, vibrations, all this different stuff, spirit, right?
Yeah.
What is it that I'm giving off to you?
Absolutely.
And the truth of the matter is, over time, that changes, right? Because as I begin to mature, as I begin to grow, as I begin to truly manifest, as I begin to truly become into the knowledge of self, that should change. There's no way I should be giving up the same energy as a 10-year-old at the age of 39.
Come on. Listen, that's the whole word. It's for real.
And if I am,
it's just who I am. Okay. Well, I'm gonna let you be who you are over there by yourself.
Yeah, by yourself, because I don't have time to deal with just who you are, because who you are just does not want to evolve into becoming anything. You know what I'm saying? Anything that is productive. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think. I think that we have to learn how to evolve and become productive in our life. We can't always stay stuck. Well, let me tell you something. One of the things, and this was something that my mother taught me growing up. And I love her for that, for the simple fact that she said, Nakia, I need you to know that just because you're working in this call center right now, this is where you are. Because I was in my, 18, 19, 20 or whatever. She said, dress for where you want to go, not for where you are.
Right. And that's why you was in Scotland last year. Was it last year or earlier this year?
No, it was earlier this year.
Come on, Scotland. Come on, job in Scotland. Yes.
Traveling, okay, overseas.
Yes.
If they were still stamping passports, I'd have had a stamp. But since they want to change all their little stuff and ain't nobody stamping nothing, but it's all right. But that's the truth, right? Because and one of the things that I even expressed to my friend, I said, stop when you do these interviews. I said, stop talking about where you are and talk about where you're going. Right? I said, because you have to learn how to evolve even your language. Just because you're not doing it right now doesn't mean that you can't do it.
That's so good.
So you have to learn how to use the language like this is, I said, I am a very good person when it comes to language. Okay. I was like, I might not have been in a management style position before. I said, but that did not mean that I was not management material, or that didn't mean that I don't have the quality to lead. I said, so when I interviewed for this position, I had to position myself in the right way and use the right words so that they know she knows how to lead this organization. Right?
That's
and that's how we have to learn how to do that. We always want to talk like for the now. Well, I work in the call center and I take phone calls. What does that mean for tomorrow? If I'm trying to get out of that situation, what does that mean? So you know what? I might not say it that way, right? What I am going to say is that I assess customer inquiries and I resolve issues. I analyze problems, and I use certain words so that a person does not recognize where I'm at, right?
Right.
So when I needed to leave the call center all the way back in 2003, they had no idea that I was a call center worker. They were like, what did you do? I said, I am a benefit analyst.
I know that's right.
What do you do? I was like, I assess annuitants' benefits. I process calculations. Although I was clicking a button in the system, you wouldn't know that I was clicking a button in the system because
Yes.
I am the processor, right?
That's right.
I
Right.
articulate the details of the annuitant's benefit back to them if they have a question concerning how I calculated that benefit. Do you understand what I'm saying? Hello. Because there's a way in which you literally have to change your language if you want to go somewhere. You have to learn how to do that. And I had to learn how to do that at an early age. My mother said, you dress for where you want to go. You do not dress for where you're at. Because I always used to go into that call center and wear anything I wanted to wear. I had them good little tight leather pants on, you know what I'm saying? All these little tight little shirts and stuff like that. Not caring or anything, not evolving. And I wasn't going to go anywhere inside that call center but right there until I grasped the lesson that my mother was trying to tell me. Dress, Nakia, be, right? Who you want to be.
That's right. That's right.
Don't just be where you at. Don't be where you are right now. And that's how I literally learned how to evolve in my career. And that's also how you learn how to evolve in relationships.
Absolutely.
Because everything, it's not about where I am right now. It's about where do I want to go and where am I going. Okay.
Can I interject? You know, women, a lot of times I coach single women. Well, when I was doing relationship coaching, I would coach a lot of single women, and they would say, and usually high net worth earning individuals. So they were always busy, they're VPs, presidents, you know, whatever, C-suite executives, right? And so they would be like, but I really want to be a mom. I really want to be a wife. And so I asked them, I said, but if you're busy now, and when are you going to have time to adjust as a wife? So that means you're going to have to evolve and learn how to adjust, because if the man shows up and he wants to be with you, is your response, I'm too busy, I can't do this, I can't do that. And you know, I know women that say, well, I'm not giving up my career for no man. That's a real man would never ask you to give up your career. However, he does want, you do have to know what kind of wife you need to be so that you can be her when he finds you. You don't want to be doing no OJT, no on the job training, right? You want to be already fully stocked and prepared, not perfect, but prepared.
Just prepared,
right? Just being prepared. You maybe don't have the, you may not have the tools. Get the tools. If you don't know how to cook, or you don't like to cook, honey, you better make sure that takeout is on some China, is the dopest Chinese on the Chinese food on the China in the neighborhood. Okay. And some men, they don't care about that, especially if you're a high net worth earning individual and you end up dating someone who's just as busy, or married to someone just as busy. They may not require that, right? So that's why it's important, as you evolve, you have to also decide, what kind of wife do I want to be? Okay, I want to be the wife that I still can go to work. I can still do what I need to do with my children. I can still need to do it. So you can start changing your mindset. So then you don't have this shock when your mate does show up and you're like, I'm not ready.
Right.
I'm not ready. Or you start sabotaging it and not even realizing, because you haven't evolved. So there's nothing wrong with evolving and excelling in your career, but also make sure you leave a little bit of space so that when it's time to wife and to mother, you're not like totally and completely stressed all the way out, right? You want to make sure that man is comfortable with your lifestyle and how you all can come together and not be this quote unquote alpha female, which I'm so over hearing the term, because what's happening is that we're creating these masculine women and calling it alpha female. That is not, that's not what it's about. It's about the Proverbs 31 would be considered an alpha female if you want to talk about it, because she was out doing real estate. She went, she did what she had to do for her family and her team, her maids, and then she went and she did some real estate, right? So she was an alpha female, if you just want to do it like that. But whatever wife you want to be.
But she was also desired, right?
Exactly. Exactly. You got to make sure you know, as you evolve interpersonally, and your in your external relationships, and you want to be with someone, these are for my singles now, and you want to be in a happy, satisfying, fulfilled marriage, you got to ask yourself, am I evolving as an individual? Would I marry me? If the answer is no, you gotta assess that. Ask your friends, girl, am I wife material? And don't be mad if she tell you no. Then you ask yourself, let me level up. Tell me where I should level up so that I can be prepared.
Now, and we gotta have those honest friends.
Absolutely. Girl, yeah, you wife material, girl, you can cook. That don't make you no wife material because you can cook. Okay, Donald Bell cooks for me. Now I do cook, but he cooks. He loves to cook. It's stress relieving for him. It's just something that he likes to do. I'll be like, you go on, sugar, let your stress be free. Okay, but he ain't gonna clean up nothing. Okay.
Okay.
So I mean, he will, but not the way, we like our stuff clean.
We go all the way in.
Yeah, like it'd be clean. Like I clean before the cleaning people come. Like I'm just like that people.
Because they just cleaning up what I just re-cleaning.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly. So I'm saying that to say, I encourage you as you evolve as a career woman and speaking those things about where you're headed, do the same thing as it relates to you showing up the right way for the spouse that you are supposed to be with. Don't look at Keisha's husband. Don't look at Sandra's husband. Look at y'all. Look, who am I being prepared for? And it's not about you giving up who you are, but it is about evolving and becoming a better you.
I agree with that. That was one of the things, like, because I was married once before, right? Mm-hmm. Which technically doesn't necessarily count because we never lived together. But then, then this other marriage that technically don't count because it wasn't even legal to begin with, right? So I said to myself, Nakia, okay, if you finally get this shit right, okay? Father, Son, Holy Ghost. 1, 2, 3. Right? I said, this time around, who are you now? Right?
That's so good. Absolutely.
Compared to before, when I was 28, right? Compared to the last time, when the hell was that? That was, and you know what? Both of them was September. I'm gonna tell you right now, I ain't getting married in the month of September. So
Duly noted.
September is out. Okay.
No engagements. No nothing. It's September.
September is out. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, going back to what I was saying. Okay. But I said, who are you today compared to who you were then, right? And would you now say that you're ready, right? And that takes a lot. I keep trying to tell you, you got to assess your own maturity, right? And you got to know who you are as a person. Nakia, are you a wife? Yes, I am. You know what I'm saying? Are you a friend? Yes, I am. Are you a girlfriend? I am. Are you a companion? I am. Are you a partner? You begin to have, you literally have to begin to ask yourself that, because even back then, you know what I'm saying, in that good 2009, I was not necessarily ready to be a wife like that, because that was a lot that needed, that was required, that I was not ready to handle, right? Back in that 2009, I would have literally needed to, I would have been required to do about a 15, 16 year bid. I wasn't that wife. And I could not do that. So I had to understand that about myself and say, you know what? Okay, Nakia, okay, we're done with people that are locked up, right? And we're done with people. I had to tell myself that. And we're done with people that live in that lifestyle that could cause themselves to get locked up, right? Because we're done with it. We have evolved. Hello, I've evolved. I have assessed. I then evolved. Now I'm adjusting myself. So now we get past that part, right? So
that's a word.
Yeah, because that's what you got to do. You got to handle all of that. So then now we move on to dodo number 2. So then we say, okay, we figured that we have assessed, we have evolved, and we have adjusted. So now we move on to say, you know what? Okay, well, he's not in jail. Check. Oh, and you know what? That's all I got for you. I had one check. Anyway, I didn't assess the checks. That's the problem. See, I forgot to assess the checks. I only had one check, and I didn't assess all the checks to say, okay, he might not be in jail, but does he have a career? Does he have integrity? Does he have character? Does he have any type of morality? Does he actually live the words in which he preaches and professes? You know, those are all the checks. I didn't assess all that. I just said, oh, you know what? Oh, he's a man of God and he goes to church. So you gotta have all of that. You can't be that without that, right? So in my mind, I done assessed, evolved, and adjusted everything into that. Oh, because he's a man of God. That's it. Got everything. Yes, here we are. And what happened?
He was married. Oh God, but we do it though. We do it,
right?
though.
We do it, but this is where you become to assess your own level of maturity, because you have to realize the things in which you actually miss and ignore because you just assume one big overarching thing. I literally assumed that if you believed in God and all that stuff, and it's not that he believed in God, it was because, well, you can't be in a bishop in the Lord's church and act this way. No, that's not possible. Like they can't. You cannot. Like in my mind,
it's impossible. You're incapable. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could do that.
Yeah, you can. And so you know what? And their justification is, this is how crazy mental illness works. They really don't see the big deal because, and the people get fleeced as well, because they're like, oh, but he gave me an accurate, he was real accurate. I get so tired of people saying he was accurate. He was an accurate prophet. Obviously, you gotta assess that he's an accurate prophet. That's the problem. But anyway, they are able to operate out of the anointing. They really are blessing the people. But I always, when I'm talking to spiritual leaders, I let them know it doesn't matter how many people fall out. It don't matter how many people you help receive Holy Spirit or whatever. You could be ministering to the people and not be ministering to God. You gotta, so that's how gifts and callings are without repentance. He's not sorry that he gifted us, but he's like, he'll let you keep working on his agenda, knowing that you ain't going to heaven. He's like, yep, you saved all these people. Thank you for your 1099. Thank you for your services, but you're not welcome here. I don't know you. That's how gangster God is. He will bless you with the anointing. You can lay hands. You can be all of these things and still miss heaven because you minister to the people and not to him.
That's it.
That goes back to relationship. Notice how everything we're talking about goes back to either relationship with yourself, with others, or with God. If you don't have a relationship with God, he'll be like, okay, I know your capacity. You can preach, you can prophesy, you can lay hands, you can do all these things, but I don't know you.
And the key of that is also when you really monitor people like that, honestly, every relationship that they have in their life is broken.
Everyone,
there is not one relationship that is whole, that is really healthy. A lot of the relationships are broken because there's broken trust, there's broken integrity, there's broken character. There's so many different things that are just broken. And that's the key to all of that. When you begin to truly assess, you have to assess even the broken things. And don't even call those broken things whole because they're actually broken.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying? Because we got to literally, Nisha, you still there? Write that down. Assess the broken things.
And can I just say this one thing real quick? Talking about assessing the broken things, we also can't make assumptions. Like when you said earlier, I'm thinking here, man of God, you can't be this dumb. You can't be this dumb. Yes. We cannot assume that people know how to do right. You 40 years old. How you don't know? Sugar, she don't know. Okay. You 60 years old and she don't know. I'm telling you, I learned that the hard way, that understand my hardest lesson I've had to learn in my leadership development. I always say that I'm a fearless leader and I can help you get to where you need to go. I'm going to pump you up. You're going to feel like $1,000,000. But one of the challenges in my leadership development was understanding a person's humanity and not making assumptions that just because they show up and they popping, I would drag you, they doing all this. And then it's like, wait, what happened to that person? And they're like, I don't know. I don't understand how I did that or why I'm like that. Or I thought I had this mindset, but now I don't understand why I'm like that. Don't make assumptions. And I had to teach, this is the hardest lesson to learn. Don't make assumptions. Mm-hmm. Everybody is not there. Doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it wrong. I just cannot make assumptions and assume. So I've learned and developed a system of self-discovery, and I ask questions, just like Jesus did. Jesus didn't tell the woman at the well that she was a hoe. He didn't say, daughter, you's a hoe. He didn't do that.
What did he say? He asked the question.
Many husbands do you have? Mm. He asked the question. So when you ask questions, it takes the pressure off of people feeling like you're judging them, or I think we have to get to a point where if we ask more questions instead of making definitive statements like, well, I think you're jealous, or I think you're envious, or I think you're this, just ask the question. I feel like this. Is that a true assessment? I feel like this. Is that how you feel? That way, now some people will just get offended even with the question. Okay. Mm-hmm. Once they get offended with the question, you cannot have a healthy relationship with them. People who really value questions. Some of my best friends, we sit on the phone and just ask questions because we explore one another and get to know one another. I have a lot of male friends. Shout out to other than my husband, who is my best male friend, my best friend, period. But Elam King is anybody who knows me knows Elam King is my best male friend. Yes. Charles James is like my friend / son, and then Barry Case Jr. is one of my best male friends. And these are all men that my husband approve of. Amen. Okay. So my point is knowing how to, that's another thing, women, having healthy relationships with men helps you understand your spouse better because they will help you see things from a male perspective. And I usually call Elam and be like, look, you better get your boy. Okay. And so it really helps. So instead of making assumptions and I'm going off on my husband and being a fool, now I do go off. Let's be clear. Okay. But what I'm saying is I go off less because I ask questions, if that makes sense. I've evolved over 22 years. Okay.
Asking questions.
And start asking questions. Right. But it's healthy. Mm-hmm. It's healthy.
One of the things that truly helped me was me having a good relationship with my father.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
me, I had a great relationship with my dad.
Yeah. To the point where I can call my dad for any and everything. You know what I'm saying? Even, which is weird, not really weird, but I think, God works in all his great ways. Even the day where all the blinders were removed and I discovered all good truth, mm-hmm. My dad and I literally were having a conversation about men who cheat on women. And my dad was literally just talking, and he thought we were just having a conversation. Like we were just, we were just talking. He was like, I have no respect for a man that cheats on a woman. I have no respect for a man that does X, Y, and Z. I think that is a severe character flaw. I think that any man that would literally hurt a woman like that to that level and have her question her own self-worth and her self-esteem, something is deeply wrong with him, right? And we were literally having that whole conversation. Him knowing that, I was 8 weeks pregnant. And I was at home. And, he was just like, well, we're so-and-so. And I was like, oh, he's here. Oh, okay, whatever. How you feeling? I'm good, And then to immediately be met with the whole cheating situation right after I hung up the phone, and the crazy part about it is the fact that I didn't even call my dad back. I was like, when the kid get dressed and go, right? And probably if I would have called my dad back, he probably would have talked me down from actually driving all the way up to that good church. You know what I'm saying? That's probably why my better judgment did not say, don't call him back. The other judgment, the better judgment as opposed to the better judgment. But
right.
Even with all of that, me and my dad have such the relationship that, when I did call him and, explain to him everything that was going on, even thereafter, one of my dad's first reactions was, I need to get to you. Right. And I find that now that I assess a lot, that a man that does not have the need to get to you in your time of need is not the man for you.
That's good.
And I had to recognize that because of the fact that, I've had some crazy relationships in the past. I had an ex that, decided that he wanted to choke me, and I called my mother. She didn't answer the phone. And I had to call my dad. And my dad was like, I'm coming now. Right. So I begin to realize that what is important to a man should be to protect his woman.
Absolutely.
So if I'm going through something that literally could be detrimental to me, your reaction should be, I need to get to you.
That's so good.
You know what I'm saying? If I'm going through something that is emotionally hurting me, whatever the case may be, you should want to come get to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's not saying that you need to act like my dad, right? But my dad, as being the example of a man in my life, that role, that figure, one of the, like, I never forget, my mother was in a car accident one time, and I think her truck flipped or whatever. I got to get to her. You know what I'm saying? There's no question about that. So one of the things that, my dad taught me was that the importance of, putting the woman first and assessing the need of that woman and understanding that, okay, no, I need to get there. That's what I'm saying? She's in danger. I need to get there. She's hurt. I need to get there. She's whatever it is that she is, I need to get there. And that one, as far like for me and my sister, as far as my dad, whether we agree with him or not, right? He was there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that was and I had to learn, like, okay, not just to watch and be like, oh, okay, but learn how to internalize that and say, you know what, this is what this man that, I mean, all jokes aside, that took on a role to be a father to children that were not biologically his, but had to show us something that, he himself might not have necessarily seen or might not have necessarily felt. And even some things that he probably, that not even probably things that he actually failed in, right? And acknowledge where he went wrong, and those are a lot of the things that, I can say, like, my dad literally taught me by me seeing it, but because I never could assess what he was doing, I didn't internalize it to say, this is how I need to view relationships as a whole. Right. Yes. And I think that like when we don't have healthy relationships, even like you said, with our parents as a whole, women need to have healthy relationships with their mothers and their fathers. Men need to have healthy relationships with their mothers and their fathers. Right. Because they show us something. And one of the things that is, and especially for Black people, one of the things that is very detrimental to us as a whole is the fact that we have a breakdown within our own family structure. So for some of us, we don't get that positivity, on both sides or on no sides, right? And a lot of that is systemic. A lot of that is cultural. A lot of that is deep rooted within our emotional makeup and stuff like that, because we've just been through so much, we don't know how. And we begin to literally affect generations of people that don't know how. And it's like now, that's why one of the things I told myself, I said, I'm sick and tired of all these damn women's conferences that teach absolutely nothing. Okay. All you want to do is tell a woman, you got the First Ladies Tea Club because all the first ladies need to come together and have tea. No, y'all don't. Okay. You're not even a title. Okay. That's not even a position. Okay. And I'm tired of y'all acting like it is one. Then you have this one. Then you got the First Wives Club. The fact that you even got to put a first in front of there is a problem. Okay, because that means that there could be a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth wives club that comes along. We do so many different things, but what we're not teaching women as a whole, how do we relate to each other? How do we relate to the opposite sex? Absolutely. How do we bridge this gap so that we can stop hurting each other and so that we can stop hurting the opposite sex? How can the opposite sex stop hurting us? You got all these men's the men's prayer breakfast, the men's this, the men's empowerment, women's empowerment. All this stuff ain't nobody empowered to be better. Right. We not talking real stuff.
That's right.
We want to hit the surface. And you. I mean, You literally have women basically saying, and I've heard this time and time again, I'm never getting married. Men don't honor marriage.
Yeah.
What? Where did that come from? That is a very hurt and toxic place.
Yes, it
But
is.
why? But why? Because we see that this woman dates this married man, and that married man takes care of this woman as long as she accepts her place. Or we see that this married woman is dating this single man, and because this single man accept, we just heard about all these entanglements going on.
Come on, entanglement. And he put a song out called Entanglement. Come on here.
He said, because you was entangled up in these sheets. That's what he said.
I need to send him a cash app.
Okay. But that's what he said. Okay.
Yeah.
But we sit up here and this is what we have turned. Let me tell you something. You know, like a few months ago, and I'll just be honest, you know what I'm saying? Like there was this dude that was really in my good inbox, and I was not in his because I didn't care, right? So then next thing you know, what do you see on the good book? Oh, I'm having a baby. Sir. Right. Okay. Okay. So you were trying to get me entangled in your mess because you knew what you were doing wherever the heck you was at, right? But luckily, I have the good ability to assess who Nakia is and assess what Nakia wants to know that I would never be entangled with you. So therefore, I couldn't bite on what you was trying to feed me nor give me. And then here we are, like some months later, and you about to have a baby in a couple months. Sir, what in the world? But see, but these are the things, and then these are the same people that want to sit up here and act like they want to empower men. No, empower yourself.
Come on. That's
Get
right.
free for yourself. And the same thing, let me tell you something, even the same thing with broken women. You want to sit up here and preach to women about how you're more than enough. Well, are you more than enough? Because what are you accepting?
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to, even from my own self, which is why like people like, well, you know, oh, you stop preaching, you stop. Yeah, because I refuse to be broken and telling you how to be whole. What type of oxymoronic, hypocritical, non-realistic message am I preaching to you?
That's so good.
Broken.
That's so good.
Absolutely. I don't believe in that faking it till you make it. I don't believe in that, you know, oh, you got to do this in season and out. No, this ain't got nothing to do with a season. This got everything to do with I'm not whole.
I'm not, come on here. I'm not whole. You get on that platform and it will show that you're not whole.
And it will. And then you try and cover it up. Yeah. And you try to mask it and you try to hide it. Meanwhile, when you get up off that platform, you smoking, you drinking, you sexing everybody, okay? You sucking up everybody, okay? Ooh. Men and women included, because you're not whole.
That's so good. Absolutely.
Because you yourself are broken and you're trying to tell somebody else how to be whole. No, I refuse. I was not going to do that. I told people all the time, I said, I will not do that. I am not that one. I'm not going to bleed to you from that good pulpit. I'm not going to bleed onto you from a stage, whatever the heck y'all want to call it today, because the Lord knows that I changed from a pulpit to a stage to a whatever it's called. I'm not doing that because who is that benefiting? It's not even benefiting me. It's not even glorifying God. If I'm to do all things unto the glory of God, what in the world? Where's that glorifying God? Absolutely. I'm hurt. I'm broken. I'm in pain. I need healing. I need all this extra stuff. But I want to sit up here and tell you. No, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you anything. What I am going to do is I'm going to sit over here and deal with myself. And so that I can begin to form healthy relationships. Even some of us don't even know how to have a relationship with our own self.
Girl, listen. When I tell people, if you can't take yourself on vacation, you can't go to dinner by yourself, you can't go to movies by yourself. If you cannot do that by yourself, you will be miserable. Because it has nothing. If you're the type of person who always got to have this outward stimulation, I got to have people at the house all the time. I got to have a TV on all night because I got to feel like somebody's in the room. Sometimes you need to be alone with your thoughts. Mm-hmm. And you need to hear what you say to yourself, because there are things that negative self-talk, it comes out and we're having whole conversations with people, but we're actually talking to ourselves and people are looking at you like, huh? I don't understand. What do you mean? And you're actually talking to yourself, but because we haven't spent enough time actually, again, assessing ourselves and really getting real with Do I even know what I like? Do I know what I don't like? Do I know, like, who am I? Who do I want to be? Where am I going? That's what self-discovery is all about. That's what it's about. And so I am proud of you because you are so excellent at self-reflection and self-awareness. And you'll be like, this is where I am. And until I'm somewhere else, this is where I'll be. And that way, people know how to navigate. And if we could do more of that with each other and say, give me time to process, give me time to grow, give me time to evolve. I'll preach one day again. I might do a revival one day. I don't know. But right now, I need to focus on my healing and that I'm comfortable with myself. Because if I love me and I take care of me, and I assess me, nothing you say will tear me down, nothing you say will hurt me. I don't need to defend myself. I don't need to show you receipts, and I don't even got to do all that because it don't matter. I know who I am, and if you don't want to get to know me, that has nothing to do with me.
That's it.
Period.
Point blank, the end. And you're not going to care about other people's opinions of you. That is when you truly become free of the opinions of others, because you truly have taken the time to assess your own self. And that was one of the things that over these last few years, it's been way before even 2 years ago, that I literally had to work on freeing myself from the opinions of other people to where I truly did not care.
Yes.
Which is why from 2 years ago, I was able to say, this is what it is. And I don't care whether you agree with it or not. I don't care how you feel about my decision or not. I don't care how you think or whatever the case may be concerning the kid, but this is what it is. And I'm going to stand in it, you know, and be 10 toes down in it and be like, okay, and your point is what?
And your point. That's right.
Okay, and this is how we moving forward. But Adrienne, I done took up all your good 2 hours and 20 minutes. Okay,
this was fun.
Yes, and you know we're gonna do this again because you know how we vibe off each other. You know how we communicate. This
y'all actually eavesdropping. This is really how we talk.
I was just about to say that. I'm
this is not like fake. Like, this is how we engage, and this is how you have organic relationships, have an honest discussion, and you say where you are, they say where they are, and that's how you build strong bonds.
It is. And you know what some of y'all don't know, because I'm just as real as I can be, you know what I'm saying? There have been times when me and Adrienne have had miscommunication and misunderstanding.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And I am one, I'd be like, Adrienne, I'm sorry. You know what? You know what? Let me take a step back. I got to apologize to you because I didn't mean to do this. Was not my intention, although this is what it did, right? Because sometimes we have to acknowledge our lack of intention, but what it actually did. And we have to acknowledge that. And then we literally have to be able to be like, okay, I screwed up, and admit your screw up and be like, all right.
Let's move on.
And I love you.
That's it. I love you, and let's move on. That's right. And that's how you have good relationships.
And that's how you build sisterhoods, brotherhoods, bonds, all that stuff. My brother, I don't know if Vincent watching it. I just said his name and I don't even care. Because he knew I was pissed off with him from like last year sometime. And I ain't talked to him for a good 6 months. I am that person, okay?
Yes.
And when I started back talking to him, I told him, I said, you pissed me off.
I know. I told my brother the same thing. We were talking via inbox. I was like, and he was like, I'm sorry, sis. Like, I wasn't trying. I ain't want no trouble. I ain't want no drama. But it's good when you can come together with your siblings and you can have candid conversations and just love people where they are. Like,
right.
Just love them where they are and keep it moving.
And accept what they're not comfortable with. Like I had to learn how to accept the fact that for some people, the reality of whatever took place with me, they weren't comfortable with.
Yeah, right? Absolutely.
And sometimes that's hard for you to accept when someone's just not comfortable with your life and your life decisions.
It's tough. It is tough.
I can't blame you for your level of comfort, but I still didn't talk to him for a good 6 months, and I didn't care.
But you know what? That's the wonderful thing about having siblings. That's why I broke friendship versus sisterhood versus acquaintances down, because it makes a difference. Because you might not talk to a friend ever again, but you're going to eventually come back around to your to yourself.
And it's nothing but love.
Yeah, it's nothing but love at the end of the day. So I love that.
Lord, let me tell you something, because Lord knows when I moved back to Jersey, Vincent was right here. Do you hear me?
Aww.
Right here, okay? And all the turmoil that happened with me moving back here, he was right here, helping me to clean, okay? Helping me with everything, like the kid, what you need, what we got to do with it. This is it. Listen, he was right here. So, you know, that's when you know, like when you have a true solid friendship, no matter what happens, you can always fall back. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the things that I like. Even one of my other friends, my friend Yolanda, we have fallen out and in. But at the end of the day, when we fall out and in, right, we both take our moments, and when we come back, we both say how you pissed me off and how you offended me. Well, I'm sorry about this and I'm sorry about that and this and the third. But we're able to literally reconcile. I believe in the ministry of reconciliation wholeheartedly, because we should reconcile. We should be able to reconcile one to another, right? We should be able to do that with all people. Truth be told, we really should. We should be able to do that with all people. However, there are some people that truly do reject the ministry of reconciliation. And when you reject it, because the ministry of reconciliation truly is a ministry about love. So if you can't accept love and you reject love, therefore I don't need to feel the need to be reconciled unto you because you reject love. Therefore, I am freed from that from you. I need folks to get free, because some of us be saying, I didn't want to talk to you. Listen, they reject love. Just let them go. Let them go. You all right.
Come on.
You are right. Let them go, because they reject love. You are right. And that's one of the things that we have to understand about healthy relationships. It is okay to let one go that truly does not want to be in that level of a bond or be in that level of love, which you can let them go and you can be free.
And accountability too. Like if you don't want to be accountable, you don't want to take responsibility, you can just be like, okay, well, I can't have that in my life, and that's it. Jesus says, shake the dust from your feet.
Shake
the dust.
What did he say?
Shake the dust from your feet.
Yes.
You can't work no miracles here. Okay? That's what he said.
And turn around.
This was amazing.
I really appreciate you, Adrienne E. Bell. Don't forget that E. You know what I'm saying? Y'all definitely need to look her up. She truly is the lifeability coach, the wifeability coach, the business strategist, the extraordinaire herself, the founder and CEO of this good fearless storyteller movement.
Yeah, shout out to the fearless storytellers.
Shout out to every single last one of them, because they truly rocked out with this live. I appreciate y'all for that. You know what I'm saying? I saw Shantae, I saw John Dylan. Listen, Miss Jenny and the Deacon was on here, Adrienne. The Deacon,
come on.
Brother Womack was on here talking he said he had the offering plate. Okay, the deacon had y'all know the deacons took care of that offering. Y'all better act like y'all know how the church works. The deacons took care of that offering. The deacon be like,
that's hilarious.
To the usher right there. So the good old Deacon Womack had the ushers. Nisha was on here. Lakeisha was on here. Everybody, you know what? A lot of the fearless storytellers, Angel was on here. So, you know, Chelsea, all of them, you know, and I truly appreciate y'all for rocking out with us. You know what I'm saying?
Morning, everybody.
Our good, my good trainers, both of them was on here. Leah and Jadoni, they both was on here. I truly appreciate. Listen, they get this good body together. Let me tell you, okay? Because hey, you know, listen, because when we finally do our photo shoot for our good documentary. Okay, bodies is gonna be snatched.
Yes, Nakia is my accountability partner, so we getting it together. I'm excited.
We getting snatched up. A lot of you might not know, but you know, I don't. We broadcasted it, but you know, one of the things that we do, me and Adrienne do together, is we are part of the fearless storyteller movement together, and we are preparing our good documentary that we did announce that is picked up, picked up, will be distributed by the good old Amazon, and we are very proud of that. There will be more announcements to come as far as all of that is concerned, but you know.
And Nakia got her whole season, y'all. We have a docu-series coming up in 2021. So just y'all need to go ahead and get on Amazon Prime, because y'all's host has her own season. Okay. Wait till y'all see her footage. Okay.
Listen here.
hilarious. It's powerful. It's hilariously powerful. Okay, so y'all just stay connected. We're doing big things, and
We
we're
really
changing the
are.
world.
This is one of the things that I could say that has truly helped me, because when you truly learn how to form great relationships with people in general, and especially women, and you learn how to get together with women, and you learn how to come together for a common good and a common cause without none of that extra foolery. And we truly did that, and we showed that it is possible for women to do it without all the drama.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We sure did.
And we're going to keep showing it, because this is what we represent, because we are women of excellence. So whenever y'all see the Fearless Storyteller movement out there, just understand we did not come to play with nobody.
That's right.
We have come to slay, and we are slaying it all. Okay,
that's right.
It all. We are slaying relationships. We are slaying. We. This is what we're doing, you know. And Adrienne was very, very much so instrumental in pushing me outside of my comfort zone. Sugar, you ready? No, but okay, I will get out my good comfort zone. But
you did so good.
I mean, I had to. Hey, listen, you got to put on for your city. You know, I had to put on. I couldn't.
Yes, she represented.
I couldn't come in there, you know what I'm saying, half cocked and not fully loaded. So if you put me up to a challenge, I'm gonna come, and I'm gonna come real. And I respect everything that we all are doing, as far as everything that we have individually going, and the things that we do collectively, because we are all literally individual people that are pushing our own visions, but then we come together collectively to push the overall vision of our movement. So y'all just understand that we're not stopping. I'm not stopping. There's so much more that y'all will literally see from me. There's so much more that y'all will, like, the content is going to be crazy. And this is truly just the beginning. And I just appreciate everybody that has truly been rocking with me from the beginning of, even the formulation of the Muzzle is Off podcast. Because the truth of the matter is, one of my friends, Jadoni, he is the one that literally pushed me into, I was like, I think I want to do a podcast. And he pushed and was like, no, you need to do that. And I'm going to hold you accountable because you're going to do that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And when you have somebody that is pushing you, that's what I truly want. When we talk about relationships, a lot of the times we fail to realize that some people are literally our pushers. In our life, and they will help us, they will guide us, they will instruct us, they will, as much as you might kick and scream, as much as you might not agree, and then you realize, oh, they right, all that stuff, that's important in life, and that is important in relationships, and it truly is also important in building your own character and your integrity on how you manage people and how you even manage yourself. So if y'all didn't get anything out of this today, I truly want everyone to go back, take a listen, and listen here, your good notebook. If they see that, that's a notebook, okay? Yeah. And write it down, because everything that we talked about, love languages, apology languages, we talked about staying away from people that have a man-hating spirit. Even for men, stay away from men that have a woman-hating spirit, that feel that women ain't good for nothing but whatever, or women that feel like men aren't good for anything but whatever, providing, or or like Adrienne said, providing that good peen, even though it's good.
Oh, Jesus, help us.
Had a moment. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Okay, from the moment. Hello, come on, come back. Okay, boom. Because it might be good, but that's not all they are there to do.
That's okay, all they're there to do. That's right.
Okay, we have to understand what people are here for us. And as a collective and as a whole, who are they to us and in our world? And, we said some real great things, assessing our own maturity. We said sometimes you need to assess, you need to evolve, and then you need to adjust. There are adjustments that you might need to make throughout life. Everything does not have to be so regimented and so this is just the way it is. No, sometimes you got to adjust your schedule, adjust whatever it is, just adjust. I am an adjuster. I know how to do that very well. You know what I'm saying? Whatever comes my way, I'm going to adjust. And I know Adrienne do the same thing. Adrienne might be like, you know what? I'm going to go here and I'm going to go here. And then she'll be like, oh, wait a minute. I got to adjust this real quick. Let me figure this out. And you know that's part of being a woman, learning how to adjust. And even with men are sometimes very regimented in their, you know, in their life, right? You know, I wake up, this is what I do, I did not do this and did I do that. And sometimes it might be a little bit harder for them to, you know, adjust as far as their schedules are concerned. But this is where sometimes with us as women becoming the nurturers that we are, and the understanding part of us. So then we begin to help them to see that, you know what, you still need to make time and adjust certain things, right? And they will, as long as you are, you know, you can't be cussing them out and, oh, why you ain't making time for me? You with so-and-so? No, don't assume. We've said that. We don't assume anything. You know what I'm saying? Right. Don't assume that you know when you really and truly don't know. So I mean, we hit on so many different nuggets tonight in this good 2 hour and 33 minutes at this point that I'm gonna wrap this crap on up because I'm tired. But we hit on so many different nuggets that I truly, if you take the time and go back and write things down, you know what I'm saying? And then just begin to assess for yourself, who am I? How am I? You know, how do I value myself? And what is it that I bring into a relationship? What do I bring into whatever that relationship is, business relationship, platonic relationship, romantic relationship? We always have to bring something. We are a carrier of destiny, right? So as carriers of destiny, there's always something that we should be giving birth to and giving light to and giving, you know, energy to, whatever the case may be. So we have to understand that within our own selves and bring it.
That's it.
And if you ain't bringing no light or energy, then you really need to assess your own self. That's just what it is. AB, anything you got to say? Because you know you my AB.
Yeah, you wrapped it up good. The muzzle is off, honey. That's all I got to say. The muzzle is off.
It is off, and we doing some crazy things on this good muzzle is off. So next week will be our good wind down Wednesday, because it actually is the 5th Wednesday in the month. And next week I will be featuring my good signature drink. I told y'all about it last week. It is the M&M. And no, I'm not telling y'all what M&M stands for, but it will be the good M&M. And we will continue on the talk of relationships, but we're going to continue it just a little differently. My cousin is actually going to be joining us next week, which I'm so excited about because I'm just excited. And we're going to talk about relationships, because when I tell you this girl has an extreme amount of faith, okay, when it comes down to this whole relationship thing, I just feel that it's worthy enough to share with other people, because I myself don't exercise what she exercised, okay? I'm honest, because I don't exercise it, but she exercises it, and it's ridiculous. So I can't wait till next week so everybody can hear, you know, the story behind her faith as far as it relates to relationships. It's gonna be like crazy, and I'm just like excited. And we will be, like I said, featuring my good signature drink, the good M&M. All right, so until next week, Wednesday at 7 p.m. Love y'all. Love you, Adrienne. Thank you. Thank everybody for listening and watching and also the extra stuff. Until next week, the muzzle is officially off. Good night.
Bye.